clash with South Australia. Well, here's John Casey taking a look at the Crow Eaters.
South Australia's road to the State of Origin clash started with some minor hiccups. Just 5 days after the original 28-man squad was announced, Craig Kelly wrecked his knee. The West Coast Eagles' Mitchell White and the Bears' Martin Leslie were drafted into the squad. Then at the first official training session here at Football Park, the Hawks refused to allow their 3 players to train and 4 others couldn't make it for various reasons.
Oh, I thought it was disgraceful. I mean, it was just one of those frustrating things that you can't do anything about, and you're getting comments back from the AFL which suggest that we'd agreed that it was okay for the Hawthorn players to stay there, and that wasn't the case at all.
Already obviously displeased, Corns then had to contend with the loss of star rovers John Platten and Tony McGuinness through injury. The good news is that Collingwood's Tony Francis is excited about his probable elevation to the #1 roving spot.
Oh, yeah, it'll be a tough assignment, but I think that, you know, we've got a very, very good chance, and I think, you know, if we get our game together and our on-ballers perform very, very well and give our forwards plenty of opportunities to score, I think that we'll do the Victorians.
SA's training squad was further depleted by the loss of Norwood's Gary McIntosh, who broke his ankle in a match against Port. McIntosh led South Australia to a thrilling 6-point victory over Western Australia at Football Park in May. While he'll certainly be missed, the only other SANFL representative in the squad, Port Adelaide's Brett Chalmers, is very enthusiastic about the biggest match of his 19-year-old life.
Oh, you know, I'd love to beat the Victorians. You know, I've played Teal Cup and they've beaten us a couple of times, and I suppose every South Australian doesn't like a Victorian, so it'd be great to beat them, and I reckon we will.
Like always, though, the last word falls to Andrew Jarman.
Mother of all battles.
Thank you.
Andrew Jarman. So the big game is on Tuesday night. South Australia go against Victoria. State of Origin football from Football Park. Check your local guides for details of the coverage in your area.
The State of Origin clash between South Australia and Victoria. Both sides have suffered numerous injury problems, but that doesn't mean a lot. It's still State of Origin, and that means us against them.
Geelong superstar Gary Ablett was ruled out early this morning, giving young Darren Baxter his State of Origin call-up. A few hours later, Baxter joined his new teammates as they arrived in Adelaide. It was a squad of mostly unrecognisable faces, thanks to an uncanny spate of almost a dozen injuries. A distrust of local water saw each carry their own supply. The most dedicated of fans arrived at Football Park this morning. The Victorian hierarchy joined them soon after. They'd been told the ground was a boggy mess and decided to take a sneak glimpse for themselves.
I've been led to believe it's going to be heavy, wet and slippery, and it's in perfect condition, so I'm glad we've come over and had a look.
Although the Big V has been stung badly by injuries, the Victorians have slammed suggestions that we're heading for a B-grade contest.
It's a side that's been hit the hardest with the spate of injuries we've had, but certainly not the weakest.
Victorian selectors assembled behind closed doors at their West Lakes hotel, plotting the moves to overcome South Australia. They'd held numerous such meetings over the past few weeks. Every time a suitable combination was reached, another injury would crop up. But the locals aren't without their own problems, with 8 stars missing. But having lost the past 2 interstate encounters, South Australia will be fighting to make amends. With his kiss of death, Lou Richards.
Now, I'm not making excuses, but we have sent a team of lame ducks over. But I still reckon we'll win by a lazy 4 or 5 goals.
That gives us a big chance.
Some of the biggest names in football may be missing, but it's still a showcase tonight. South Australia versus Victoria from Football Park. It's South Australia's first and only State of Origin game for the season. The Big V comes off a big win against Western Australia. It's always special when the Crow Eaters take on the Big V at Football Park tonight on State of Origin. Yes, good evening and welcome to Football Park in Adelaide for the State of Origin clash between South Australia and Victoria. South Australia's first State of Origin game this season. The Vics defeated Western Australia by 67 points at the MCG. And South Australia last year defeated by Victoria at this ground. by 16 points. Let's have a look at the records between the two teams since State of Origin football's been played. Victoria with the edge, 7-4 over South Australia in the 11. They won by 86 points at the MCG before more than 90,000 people in 1989. And the year before, South Australia won by 10 goals at this ground in 88. The coaches and the captains for tonight's team: South Australia, Graham Corns coaching tonight. It was John, the Port Adelaide coach, I should say, John Cahill last year, and the captain, Chris McDermott, and Victoria, Billy Goggin again, and captain Paul Roos. Well, joining me is Don Scott as we take a look at the squads, and firstly the South Australian one, Don.
Yes, well, we haven't actually got their team lineup, so it's going to be a little bit hard to pick out, but David Kepler has come into this side. Now, he was named as an emergency, the South Adelaide utility player, and Tasker hasn't taken his place, but that is the squad. I think Kernahan, I'm trying to mock lineup. Kernahan will be at full forward, Carey centre half forward, Jarman in the centre. I think Maynard will be on Steins at centre half back. Steins is playing at centre half forward, and I think Hines will have the job on Salmon playing at full forward. Pittman will be in the ruck against Wine. McDermott and Francis will be the other two followers, but the Victorian side, there it is on screen, and it's not a bad side. I was a little bit hesitant on the weekend, but this is not a bad side when you look at it on paper.
No, it looks very, very good, Don. You go down the centre, Bays, Roos, Shaw, Steins, Salmon, who kicked 9 goals against Adelaide a couple of weeks ago, and Wind has been so brilliant as the follower. Well, Peter McKenna will be working with Don Scott and myself in the commentary position tonight. We'll be introducing him after the break. A very good crowd here, something like 35,000, building up towards 40,000. A cool night, but pleasant conditions, and a very good crowd in for tonight's match. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with the opening bounce after this.
While the Governor's locked away, the wild colonial...
Australia, they go to the left of screen. John Casey, Tim Watson are working the boundary tonight, and also the dressing rooms, and it's a good evening to both of them. Firstly, you, John.
Yes, good evening, Bruce. Good evening, everyone. And I can tell you there's quite a buzz down here at boundary level, as you'd expect for a great game. I'm sure the almost perfect conditions we've got here have encouraged a lot of people to come down late this evening. The current temperature, a very mild 14 degrees, is expected to go down to an overnight low of 7. Humidity 65%, very little chance of rain. There is hardly any breeze here at the moment. The windsock is limp, and there is no goal advantage at either end of the ground. The crowd is building up. It's been coming in here very late, and the ground condition is very good compared with Waverley Park on Saturday where the Crows were beaten. Let me tell you, this is like a bowling green. The earlier match, they hardly dug it up at all. Conditions should be ideal. We're all set for a great game. The forecast is for mainly fine conditions with the possibility of an isolated drizzle. But, Bruce, I wouldn't expect we'll be seeing much of that.
OK, John, thanks for that Mitsubishi Motors ground report. Your selection and Tim Watson's.
Well, it's very hard to choose this one because of all the players that have been taken out of both sides. But, Tim, you played in the last match here when Victoria won, and I'm sure you're quite happy with the way the Victorian team has shaped up.
Although they've lost a couple of players, there's still a very strong combination, and I was in the rooms before the game, and you know, they're pretty pumped up for this game, so I'd expect that they get off to a pretty good start.
I'll stick with SA, Bruce.
OK, Don Scott and Peter McKenna. Welcome, Peter. Your selections.
Good evening, Bruce. I'm going for the Vics. I think they've got a very strong side, although the crowd will favour certainly South Australia and help them a lot.
And I'm changing my selection. Yesterday it was South Australia. Today is Victoria as I look at them on paper.
Start of the game at Football Park. They've built it up in South Australia as the Championship of Australia between Victoria and the Crow Eaters. Wine wins the first tap. Pittman went against him. Hines has got the job done at fullback on Salmon, who gave Smart a lot of problems a couple of weeks ago when he played for Essendon here. Bradley picks himself up. Former Port Adelaide champion. We're going back a fair way there. Shaw right in the centre of the action for Victoria. Wine again wins the tap. Burt caught. Fierce tackle on him. And again it'll be a bounce down. And conditions are very, very good considering that we're deep in the heart of July as we look at the South Australian interchange bench.
Adam Saliba, David Kepler in the centre, Darren's brother.
And Nigel Smart on the bench, which is a big surprise, I feel. I thought he'd be one of their better defenders. Here's the Collingwood Rover, Tony Francis with a free kick in towards the half-forward line. The race is onto the ball. Tony Hall leads in the race. Now it's Andrew Obbs. He's having a good season for Melbourne. He loses it in the tackle. It's shuffled over to Anderson. Greg Anderson in towards the pocket. One-on-one contest. Kernahan is there racing after Stephen Kernahan. He's a great player in these games. Taken by Bays. Smothered off the boot. Tony Shaw around the corner. And he has found his teammate Andrew Collins.
Goes short to centre going to McGuan, who's been brilliant.
That's 50 metres. That should be 50.
Not paid. On the mark was Maynard. Half forward, Steins returned to his best form in Perth on Friday night. The Brownlow medalist goes to full forward. Salmon the lead. Hines very well played at the back. Anderson caught, tries to get rid of it, had plenty of time. Couch off the ground. Finally, Francis.
Doing well, the little fellow.
Left foot, back to the centre. Burke at the back. Bradley ducked his head, got caught, and gets a free kick.
Yes, a little lucky, as you said, ducked the head. And, well, the umpiring fraternity will have to start to deliberate on those shortly, because it's very hard to tackle a man who ducks the head. Now, he shuffles across to Richard Champion, who's presently playing with the Brisbane Bears. In towards half forward, and there's a good mark to Wayne Carey. Off he goes. He'll look for Kernahan. In towards the pocket. Up they go. Punched away by Bays. Good play by Bays as he brings it to half back. But the mark is taken by Darren Jarman. Onto the left foot. It's a grubber towards the half-forward line. Scott Russell. Tony Hall loses it. Now it's Hannah. And the Vicks rebound as Millen Hannah brings it out towards centre wing. Some pushing and shoving. Could have been a free kick to Lyon as he races in out. Oh, clever play by Lyon to get it to Scott. Good football. Now Nathan Burke. Burke back to Scott. Oh, he breaks the tackle. Robert Scott brings it in towards full forward and 7, and that was champagne football.
That was a great handball, a real quick reflexive handball by Burke. He got it across to Scott. I don't know whether the pass was actually meant that way, Peter, because he was facing the other way a little bit to the left. Here it is, terrific hand pass. Scott using his speed.
Well, I've got no doubt the pass was meant.
It was. Now I'm looking at a replay, but just as he took off there, I thought he was trying to centre it a little more.
Well, Paul Salmon will line up from about 40 metres. Very slight angle. Hardly any breeze here at Football Park. For the first goal of the game, and he might be a thorn tonight in the side of the South Australian. Paul Salmon, normally an accurate kick. This time he splits the centre. Great start to Victoria. First goal to the Vicks, kicked by Paul Salmon.
And that's what they wanted, but these sides, both of them are pumped up. Well, watch this play. I was really impressed with that quick bit of play. Don't these players lift at a tempo? And that's probably why they're in the state team. They're very, very quick in whatever they do. A good kick by Salmon.
Big V by a goal. Wine again wins the tap against Pittman. Mitchell tapped it on. Scott caught. Wanganeen's going to run with him tonight. Run down is Leslie. Off the ground by Jarman. Shaw scoops it out. Steins, or well played by Bickley to smother it. The handball's okay. Obbs caught magnificently by Wine and Fairley. Well, I thought it was Fairley. Obviously not. It's been too high. Let's have another look. Well,
yes.
Yeah, over the shoulder. Those replays help, don't they? Ops to centre half forward. Hannah at the back against Hall. Hannah wide, Lyon and Ops at the back. Now Wine gets down low. Couldn't get rid of it. McDermott was off the ground. Lyon was dispossessed by Jarman. McDermott's handball okay. Bickley's kick towards half forward. Half volley by Carey. He's had 3 good touches. Left foot kick, a beauty. Well, it was as good as Scott's at the other end, wasn't it?
And he's pumped up too, Wayne Carey, after he let that pass go, the fist in the air, signifying that he was very happy with that pass. It was a great pass because he's normally a right foot kick. Here's the build-up again. Carey attacking that well. Been given a lot of latitude there by Roos. He'll have to tighten up. You really can't afford to give players latitude in these types of games. They're just so good.
Well, can Kernahan match Salmon's effort? Kicked 9 goals on the weekend. Has a tremendous record in State of Origin football. Leans back, drop punt straight through. All square at Football Park.
He is probably one of the best kicks to goal, Stephen Kernahan. Probably convert more, have a better strike rate than any other player in the AFL. A good pick up there by Carey. Bayes couldn't do a thing on that occasion.
One goal apiece at Football Park, and if the first few minutes is any indication, we're in for a great night. Here's Bickley again. Oh, he's tackled from all angles. Now McDermott, always working overtime. Strong tackle. Kick was by Wanganeen to the centre of the ground. Scott Russell's off and running onto the left foot. In towards Kernahan, thumped away by Bayes. Still a chance from South Australia. Now it's Andrew Collins to try and mop up. Clever play by Collins. Scott Russell again. Now Carey. Brings it in towards the pocket. Players going in very, very hard at the ball. Here's Kernahan and Bayes. Socket off the ground, and the mark has been taken by Ruse. Off he goes. The centre wing. One-on-one contest. Gary Line, is it a free kick? It's not.
Should have been again.
McDermott again. Now Nathan Burke around the corner on the left foot to the half-forward line. Courage will need to be shown, and it is by Darren Jarman.
South Australians going a little harder at this stage.
High drop punt, measured the kick, but Wine was in the box seat. O'Donnell, half-back. McGuan free kick against Anderson. Gee, Don, some of the matchups are fascinating. I think Collins for Francis, Shaw for Jarman. There's a lot of tagging, and there's going to be some great duels here tonight.
Hannah and Hauler, they're just everywhere, Bruce.
McGuan to centre wing, Steins and Leslie with him. Leslie, who did the job on Brereton a few years ago in a famous match. Wanganeen, oh, big leap by Modra. Terrific pick up there by Hinkley. Left foot round the body. Shaw and Jarman. And a free kick to Anderson at half forward. So Anderson swings onto his left boot.
Yes, Greg Anderson in towards full forward. Up they go. It's thumped away. It's Bayes at the back. Bayes over the top. Ruse, the captain, has a bounce. Now elects to kick it to an unmarked man. It's Mick McGuan. He knows how to make space. He'll probably look for Salmon. The leader's on. Salmon strides out. He traps it beautifully. Goes to ground. Umpire calls play on as Tony Francis soppers it off the ground. It's straight to Hinkley. Hinkley wide. Again, it's Mick McGuan making space. He'll wait for the bounce. He can go with a hand pass over the top. He does that to Couch. Couch again. Probably Salmon will be the target. Salmon's got two to beat. Up go the big arms.
That's a good mark.
Paul Salmon has beaten two men and taken the mark. Although they're not too happy, the South Australians, particularly David Pittman.
Actually, that was impressive the way they built that up. Couch actually looked down the ground, and there was Salmon out of screen there, signifying he wanted the ball high. And Couch had plenty of time. There wasn't a South Australian around him. Plenty of time to steady, sum up the situation, and he let the perfect ball go.
Well, he's going to be a thorn in the side. Is that Gerard Healy there we saw on the screen? With Billy Goggin, the coach. Gerard Healy, one of our commentators at Channel 7, of course, has received Paul Salmon kicking for his second from 35 metres. Salmon kicks, oh, that's a shocker. That could be out in the full, this. No, it sneaks in for a behind. Unlike Paul Salmon, he's normally very accurate. So the scoreboard shows a point the difference. The Vic's in front.
Leslie, wide. The target will be Hines. Made some space. He's got the job on... we had the early job on Salmon tonight. Wonder how long he'll be there. Salmon starting well. Here's Obst to Anderson at centre wing. High one. Carey, Hannah at the back. Well done. Came off Collins, ricocheted away. Jarman again with a touch. Not effective that time. Went through Carey and also Russell. Obst, great smother off the boot was by O'Donnell. Couch chipped in. Carey again, a very good player early. Kernahan one out with Bayes. Modra and Harvey, well played Harvey. Kept his footing, the sweeping handball out towards Shaw. Crunching him, his teammate Russell from Collingwood. Lee Matthews would have been shuddering back in Melbourne. Well, and it'll be a throw-in.
He's tough, isn't he?
You can see the way these players are going in. It's terrific football early, and the South Australians doing the good stuff at the moment.
Wind versus Kernahan. Kernahan actually won that one. Andrew Obbs, very impressive early. Here's a chance for Francis from the pocket, but he has missed to the right. So an excellent game. I think, Bruce, we're in for a tip-top game. As Don said, they're pretty ferocious at the ball.
He's playing a terrific game, Francis. He's picking up kicks down the other end of the ground. He's prepared to put his body in. He's smothering.
Bayes to the half-back line. No mark to Tony Hall. He's got his Hawthorn teammate Darren Jarman. Plenty of skill by Jarman. Look at that. In towards half forward and Bradley. Bradley looking for Kernahan at the back. 2 bites. That'll be a mark. No, play on. Still Kernahan. Hand pass wide. Tony Francis on the left foot. Wings it across his body and through for a behind.
Graham Corns looking on. He's had a disappointing season, or the Crows have, at this stage, but what a big game tonight. Tremendous atmosphere. There's a lot of negative thinking, I guess, in the last few days with all the superstars not playing, but
well done.
Still 44 great players out there. Jarman again, who's having a terrific match, and Kernahan all alone.
These Victorians will really have to start and man up. Collins has got the job on Francis. He'll have to man him up. It was Whitten who got it down. It was taken away by South Australia.
Kernahan to go for goal number 2. Kicked 10 here in 1984. 6 when South Australia won by 10 goals in 88. Drop punt, across the face, just pushed it, still in play. Big fly from Modra and now out of play. So throw it in the pocket.
Well, I'm looking forward to watching Modra tonight. I think he's a very exciting player, a lot of talent.
Kicked 7 goals for West Adelaide on the weekend and he's match back.
Yes, I'm surprised they didn't slot him straight in for the Crows. There's Tony Hall flying for the ball. Now Ruse. It's a loose one in the pocket. McGuan to Andrew Collins. Collins to the half-back line. Up they go. Oh, the big fly at the back. Now that was Jarman. He sockers it off the ground. Taken away by Collins. Andrew Collins, always a great player in these games, to centre wing. Gary Lyon, 2 bites of the cherry.
Smart.
It's wide to Tony Shaw. Oh, Shaw breaks the tackle. Good play by the Collingwood captain. In towards half forward. Robert Scott versus Wanganeen. Now it's Richard Champion. Oh, he slips over. He's caught. That could be holding the ball. Yes, it is. So it's a free kick to Robert Scott at half forward.
Gee, that was great play by Gary Lyon on the outer centre wing.
Scott centering kick. Salmon is the target. Obbs with courage was able to hold it up a bit. Here's Harvey, who was brilliant at this ground last year in his debut. A short one to half forward and he finds McGuan. As Peter said, can find some space, Mick McGuan, and can kick a long goal too.
He'd be a dark horse for the Brownlow medal this year too. Brucey's had a magnificent season for the Magpies.
He's too bashful and shy and self-effacing, but he loves a bet. I wonder if he'd put something on himself.
He's the top kick winner so far this year in the AFL, of course.
Well, he's kicked 17 goals for Collingwood in 14 matches. And he is a booming kick. He kicked a long goal for Victoria against WA. Drop punt, leans back. He's kicked it long and strong and hit the post right at the top. Gee, that was a long, strong kick there from McGuan. Scores a level.
Well, a very entertaining game. Richard Champion, back in his home state, brings it to the half-back line with a nice kick too. Maynard versus Lyon. Here's Gary O'Donnell to back up Gary Lyon. Now, he was legged then, and the umpire paying the advantage. Now, that's funny. The umpire paid the advantage, then saw it was to no advantage and brought it back, and I think that's good umpiring. Gary O'Donnell. Off he goes. There's a loose man, Scott Wine. Not good marking that by South Australia. Wine in towards the pocket. The tall players are there, and too tall was Jimmy Steins, and he will kick from 30 metres.
Interesting move having Steins at centre-half forward. He'll certainly give you a lot of run in that position. It's a difficult position for a ruckman to play. He's made his name as a mobile ruckman, but you see there he's just too tall on that occasion.
Well, he played a great game in Perth on Friday night. I gave him best man on the ground. A very mobile player, Jim Steins, and normally pretty active as he stabs at this one, and he sneaks it in for a goal.
14-8, Victoria leading. Steins and Salmon the goal kickers. Kernahan for South Australia. Obbs again in the play. With him, Steins. Pittman to do the work with Wine. Wine just muscles him out. Well read, though, by Obbs, who started very well. A long kick towards Hall and Hannah. Oh, what a mark!
Used his body well, didn't he? Tony Hall. A great mark. Took a classical mark against Brisbane Bears 2 weeks ago. A much-needed mark. Look at him, Hannah. He's also a very strong player, and just at the critical time Hannah was getting position, Hall nudged him out.
From 35 metres, directly in front, high drop punt, gets under it, doesn't kick it very well, and misses. Unusual for him to miss. Kicks a lot of goals.
His kicking has been nowhere near as good since he damaged that knee in a State of Origin game. There's Hannah, and interesting point that Hannah might even pick up Tony Hall next Saturday when Carlton play Hawthorn, of course, to centre wing. The ball hits the deck. Wind is there trying to tap it onto Shaw, onto Hinkley. Hinkley soccers it off the ground and over the line on centre wing. 2-2 to 1-3. Now the margin 5 points in a typical State of Origin game. They're really ripping into it. Here's Pittman against Steins. Now, no one, well, they're both wrestling, pushing and shoving. Andrew Obst having a terrific game. I'm very impressed with this player. And look at Carey. Too much pace for Paul Roos. Off he goes. Now he'll have to go behind the mark.
One thing about Carey, he's got a lot of courage. He's prepared to play in front.
Well, he's got enormous talent, Don. Now he brings it in towards the square. Up they go. It's no mark. Coming away with it is Harvey, dodging and weaving. This is Robert Harvey. To the half-back line again is Mick McGuan making space. Now he's got a couple of South Aussies to beat here, and he ends up doing it. Mick McGuan with very, very clever play. Martin Leslie back with the flight, traps it, and he'll drive South Australia to the half-forward line.
High floating kick, McDermott, and also Hinkley. Missed by Burke, but got it at the second attempt. Quick kick away. Barry Mitchell caught, run down, gets it away though. Harvey sweeping through the centre square. Drop punt to Salmon. Good kick. Oh, pinpoint accuracy. Brilliant.
Doesn't he lead well for a big man?
But what about the kick?
Beautiful kick.
Oh, and the speed he showed to get away and come back onto that right foot. What a pass. That's a 40-metre pass.
And with pace too, Don, and it was absolutely precise. Well, this will test Salmon. It's about his distance. He's on the 50-metre line where he'll kick it from. He doesn't kick it much further than this normally. High drop punt. He's timed that very well. He's got the distance easily, but missed. It's as long as I've seen him kicked it in ages, but inaccurate. So he's kicked 1-2 Salmon, and Victoria lead by a goal at 2-3 to 1-3.
Well, again, Richard Champion to bring it back into play to the half-back line. Martin Leslie, his Brisbane Bears teammate. Steins, a disciplined effort to Scott Wine. Now a chance for Harvey again. In towards full foot. All the height is there. Salmon. Oh, he couldn't grab it. He had two to beat. Richard Champion roved it well at the back. Off he goes. Kicks it wide. He's looking for Jarman. Let's see if Jarman shows his normal skill. Too much pace for Tony Shaw, and then soccers it around the boundary line. Good play, Jarman. Taken by Hinkley. Hinkley on centre wing. Chips it across. A lot of loose men for Victoria. Mitchell. Now it's Shaw. Now it's Couch. Victoria off and running. Wanganeen putting the pressure on Scott. This is Gary O'Donnell. Onto his favoured left foot. Brings it back towards the pocket. Up goes Salmon. Thumped away by Pittman, I should say. Now it's Harvey. Now Robert Scott. In towards full forward. And a strong mark.
Don't they make it look easy? That handball of Harvey's, that was just terrific stuff.
Well, it's a good game as McGuan has taken this mark 20 metres out directly in front.
Oh, they amaze me, these players. It's always good to see the elite in any sport. They really do lift it a cog, don't they?
A lot of players are out of both squads through injury, but there is not one poor player out on that ground. There's still a lot of talent. Mick McGuan having a great first quarter. Carrying on with his Collingwood form here. McGuan from directly in front. I think he's kicked it all right. He has. So Victoria doing well as Mick McGuan kicks his first, and on the scoreboard the Vics lead by 2 goals.
Well, they are doing it well now, Victoria. They're really getting the numbers that the ball being punched away by it from Salmon. And Harvey doing particularly well around midfield. He's setting it up. Classic pass earlier to Salmon, and that one was a good handball to Scott, and Scott in turn to McGuan.
1-3-3-3, Victoria by 2 goals. Pittman wins this one against Wine. Had to butter up himself. quick left foot by Mitchell out of the centre. Wanganeen and Scott couch cleverly. Brilliantly taken by Burke. Centering kick. Salmon and Hines to go at the back. Well, two South Australians flew in the end. Champion and Hines. Scott hurled up in midstream. Champion straight to the boundary line and out. Steins calling for it deliberately. Well, Hines with a big fly at the back then. 21-9. Big crowd here, well over 35,000. Pittman getting rid of Steins. No free kick there. Mitchell, handball. Lyon, left foot by Scott's a goal.
He's a great state player, isn't he, Robert Scott? He cut them apart a couple of years ago on the MCG, lost form down at Geelong, but now he's back in that form that he showed. And really, he is a good player tonight. Gary Lyon involved again. Maybe a free kick could have gone to Steins. Victoria have just kicked their fourth. Robert Scott, a good player.
Handy break to Victoria. They lead by 3 goals. The class shown by Gary Lyon there. There's Wayne Carey going to ground as he slipped. It's at half forward for South Australia. They could do with a couple of quick ones. Victoria getting on top. It's to the half forward line. Off the ground by Tony Hall. In towards the pocket. Modra trying to keep it in play. He does so, but it might have crossed the line. The boundary umpire was about 60 metres around the South Australian crowd. Don't like that decision, but it'll be a throw-in the forward pocket for South Australia.
Gee, they ought to, Pete. I think Hinkley was away, wasn't he? At least the ball's still there for them. Wind and Kernahan, body to body. Hall there with Burke and O'Donnell and Bradley. And again out of play. So, as Peter said, South Australia need a couple of quick goals here. Victoria leading by 3. Bradley a quiet start. He's been just off his top at Carlton in the last 3 weeks after an excellent start to the season. Hinkley went to ground and goes for holding the footy. Russell over the top.
Well, you've got to make some attempt, don't you, really?
Now, what are they going to do here? They're going to take Pittman off the ground, bring Smart on. Smart will go to full back, and I think I'll put Hines on the ball, but I thought Pittman was doing quite well in the centre against Wine.
So Russell from the pocket. An important kick for South Australia.
There's Pittman off the ground as Russell's lining up.
Drop punt. Hooked it across the face. Big fly was from Hall, but through for a behind. 1-4 to 4-3. 10-27. There's Pittman who's come off the ground. And Smart has gone to full-back. Don and Hines onto the ball.
Well, I personally think that's a good move. I think Smart... Well, I just think
thought Pittman was doing pretty well in the centre there in the last couple.
They're trailing by 3 goals. They had to do something, Don. And I think Smart's one of their better players. There's Jarman with class. To the half-forward line. Oh, uncontested that mark to Gary O'Donnell. Graham Corns won't like that. On to Paul Roos. Roos to the half-forward line. Robert Scott. Oh, free kick to Scott. No, not paid, but he comes and gets it again. Brings it in towards Salmon. He's got the height advantage here, Salmon. Oh, yes! Now, that was a great mark by Salmon. Now, did he put the hand on the shoulder? I don't think so. It looked a good mark. Let's have a look. Was the hand... Oh, yes. He put the hand around the neck. Now, I thought he may have, but the mark has been paid anyway. Salmon from 35 metres. For his second goal of the night from directly in front. Paul Salmon. Oh, this is close.
No, it's right.
But sneaks it in. So Paul Salmon kicks his second. Victoria doing very, very well. 5-3 to 1-4.
Well, Robert Scott again getting it around midfield. Stein flying. And there's little Robert Scott. Again, an intelligent kick down the ground. Because Champion in front, quite a way in front of Salmon on that occasion, and allowed Salmon to have that run at the ball. Scott again put it up high.
Victoria 5-3, South Australia 1-4. It's been a brilliant start by the Big V. Salmon's kick 2-2. Leslie was off the ground, didn't go very far. Stein's free kick goes back to Mitchell.
And what they've done, they've put Smart in a pocket on Robert Harvey, and Champion's playing on Salmon.
Mitchell squares it to Wine in the centre square. Just runs around his opponent, can go for goal from 55 metres out. Kicks it right to Salmon. Who does he? No, off hands are behind. 5-4, 1-4.
And another change coming up for South Australia with Modra going off and Nailey coming on. So a real difference in the balance of the forward line suddenly. Nailey to Crum off Kernahan, you'd expect. And he can kick goals from the pocket. McGarry medalist last year. The kick out from Champion. Smart ducked his head, line, cocked him and goes for holding the footy.
Well, he ducked his head. The umpire realised that, indicated.
Well, we saw one earlier and I made comment on that. I think that's good umpiring. Here's Salmon. Up. Oh, look at that. Great lead and just too tall and too strong. Salmon has marked about 40 metres from goal.
Don't agree with that move, Peter. I know you want him off, but I'd put Hines on the ground. Look at this. He's just too big for Champion, this fellow. Yes. Especially when he's in front like that and jumping.
Well, Salmon, he's a hard man to stop. He's a very good player, Paul Salmon, and when you're 6'10", and with his mobility and skill, you need a very good player to play on him. And I think the Bombers might at last decide to play him a lot more at full forward, because he's been a great focal point for them the last few games. Here's his kick in towards full forward again. It's close to hit the post.
At the top again.
So bad luck to Victoria, but Salmon looking extremely dangerous down there. 5-5 to 1-4 as Martin Leslie is about to bring it back into play.
2 goals, 3 to Paul Salmon.
Good kick by Leslie. Hines makes it. He's played every game at West Coast this season. Premiership player at Port Adelaide in their big run in the late 80s. Kick to centre wing. Hall was the target. Hannah at the back. Left foot okay. Wind running with Stein. Stein's got a little shove against Leslie. Scoops it up cleverly. Harvey with pace and real skill. Cuts away through brilliantly. Left foot pass to Scott. Couldn't quite make it. Jarman's been good. Gives it to Wanganeen. South Australia needs some inspiration. Centre half forward. Nailey got a little push out. No free kick paid. South Australian fans want one there. It's scooped up by the South Australians. Russell couldn't quite get to it. Hannah, the kick was smothered brilliantly off the boot. Ruse under pressure. Holds the footy up cleverly. Bradley tries to get it out, and it'll be a bounce down at centre half forward.
It did look a nudge out on Nailey, didn't it, at half forward?
Didn't Ruse do a good job, though, against the Tide with 4 players to beat and just held it there?
Well, it's at half forward for South Australia. They've got approximately 20 seconds in which to score here. They could really do with one. Sock it off the ground. It's shuffled out by Nailey. Now it's Bradley. It's trying to punch it away was Ruse. There's a quick kick in towards full forward. Kernahan races after it, goes to ground. It's shuffled back in front of goal. Here's Gary O'Donnell on the bays, and there's the siren to end a very entertaining first term here at Football Park. Victoria look the better side, and they lead 5-5, 35 to South Australia, 1-4, a total of 10.
5-5 to 1-4 South Australia. The big V go to the left of screen. Wine uncontested, got the advantage of the bounce. Jarman missed it. Bradley pushed it forward for South Australia. Hall and Hannah together. Collins and Obst. O'Donnell cleverly couldn't get his kick away. Mitchell over the top of it. Ruse over the top of it. Finally being held up, and Michael Abbott to come in and bounce the ball at centre half forward.
And I see they put Nigel Smart to full back on Paul Salmon, and I'm pleased about that, because although he's lacking height, at least he's got the pace to go with Salmon on the lead, and Victoria look like having plenty of the play tonight. Here it is at half forward with Tony Hall as he shuffles it out. Adelaide try and go forward. Around the corner is Nailey. Nailey a hide for South Australia, I should say, as it comes in towards goal. Chris McDermott on the left foot. Kicks it through for a goal. So maybe that'll lift the South Aussies as the captain kicks a good goal. 2-4 to 5-5.
Well, it's funny, but Nailey was involved with that. He got the first tap on, followed it up, then got on that ball, and well anticipated here by McDermott. So, Nailey, I believe, one player that should be still playing AFL football. He's still got a lot of talent and retired from that competition prematurely.
35 to 16. South Australia 2-4. Victoria 5-5. Burke missed it out of the centre. Francis might have been in the back. No free kick. McDermott goes to ground. Gets a free kick from the centre square. Was looking for a handball. No. Called to go back over the mark.
He's a great goer, isn't he, McDermott?
Gives it to Anderson. Swings onto his left foot. Centering kick to centre half forward. And Harvey too easy that time against Nailey. Harvey's had a very good year with Essendon as a defender. Free of injury at long last. Now McGuan at half back. It's been inspirational in many of Collingwood's brilliant fight-back wins this season. Stynes was just eased out of it by Hines. 50-metre penalty going against Victoria. And Leslie will bang it back in for South Australia, and they can attack hard here.
There's a couple of quick goals here, and they're right back in the contest because they were really well beaten in that first term at the finish. This is Martin Leslie. He's a good player, one of the great players that have come from Port Adelaide. Kernahan, no mark. Still a chance for South Australia in the pocket. Nailey again. Wine back with the flight. Did he keep that ball in play? All dangerous. Taken away by Hinkley, though. Oh, he ran into Wine. Here's a chance around the corner for South Australia, Tony Hall. But he has put it out on the full.
Good snare by Hall, but tremendous pressure on him. Wine showing a lot of confidence there in the back pocket. And why not? He's playing so well. Only Footscray player out there tonight. A bit surprising considering they're equal top of the table on points with Geelong and match ratio. The kick out by Hinkley. Hines went to ground. Francis was held up. Will get a free kick against Mitchell. Never really had control there, Francis, and Mitchell was onto him and manhandled in the end. Francis quickly onto Anderson, who should mark, and does.
Great vision. And not bad on the left foot, was it, the kick?
No, terrific.
Very good. And Anderson to kick for an important shot for South Australia. Kicked 54 goals in 97 matches for Essendon, so he hasn't been prolific, but most of his footy's been played across the centre line. Drop punt, long kick, he's pushed it a bit, it's fading, and he'll miss from behind. It looked good off the boot. Big cheer went up, but 2-5 to 5-5.
Well, another former Port Adelaide player, and Gavin Wanganeen's there also. So they've produced some great players, haven't they, Port?
Bradley, one of their champions.
Bradley, of course, yes. There's Bays to half-back and Wine, too tall and too good on that occasion. Here's Nathan Burke as he kicks it. Well, indiscriminate kick. That one was all South Australia. Anderson and Francis are there against Hannah. Anderson, wobbly old hand pass, but it comes off as Tony Francis has pace. Francis chips it across to the centre of the ground, and this is Bickley. Off he goes. Mark Bickley, a good, honest player, brings it in towards Kernahan. He's got a couple to beat. Thumped down by Bays. Jarman brilliantly. Darren Jarman on the left foot. Have a look at that for football. Great play by this champion Hawthorn player, Darren Jarman. 3-5 to 5-5.
Well, they are predictable in what they're doing. Both sides, they're kicking it high into their forward line. They've got Kernahan at one end, they've got Salmon at the other. And the ball's going to be punched away as it was on that occasion. And you've got to get under the feet. And Jarman did. And McDermott did it just a little earlier.
(3-5, 5-5). Jarman with a spectacular goal for South Australia. Maynard's kicked to half forward. South Australia with a bit of a run. Russell's handball was very poor, missed off completely. Anderson against the tide. Russell now comes back for it. Slow handball to McDermott. Keeps it in play. Neat drop punt. Hall half volleys it now. Carey should have taken it cleanly. His first mistake tonight. But South Australia with a bit of a run on with goals to Jarman. And also McDermott in this term. Carey to do the ruck work against Wine. Wine into Locke's arms, wins the tap. Mitchell to Couch. Threaded his way through. Burke. Oh, clever. Good touch back to Couch. Hines underneath it. Stynes at the back. Still Hines with strength. OK, Bickley. Anderson. Sold one handball. Left foot smothered off the boot. Collins, it'll be play on. Taps it to Hines, to Bickley. Left foot round the body. Kernahan one out against Bays. Oh, great mark. Set himself for it, Don. Gave the hands a little bit of a blow too, just so they'd be dry for the footy. And took it one-handed.
Mistake out in the centre by Collins. Tried to pat it on. Kernahan. Good use of the body. Fending Bays off.
He's kicked one goal. And really shouldn't miss from here. He's kicked 60 goals for Carlton this season. Drop punt, goes for it and kicks it. 2 to Kernahan, and South Australia has come out running here. They've kicked 3 goals in not very many minutes, and there's just a goal the difference.
Well, isn't it funny, down this end of the ground, 8 goals have been kicked. Obviously the scoring end, right of screen. And there he is, Stephen Kernahan, his 2nd goal.
Back to the centre, a goal the difference. There doesn't seem to be much breeze here. Here's Scott Wind. Now Gary O'Donnell caught. Shuffles it away. Still in the centre of the ground. Here's Maynard. Knocked away from him. A hurry kick comes down towards the half-forward line. They're playing with confidence now. Good play, Tony Hall. But he's kicked it straight to Hinkley. Hinkley wild. And the kick lands with Anderson. Greg Anderson to the centre of the ground. It's all Crows. This is Bickley. Bickley in towards Kernahan again. Oh, he was held by the arm, but he was still too good. Great play by the big full forward and Carlton captain.
Maybe Bucks will have to change his tactics. What he's been doing is coming from behind and getting a fist to it. He might have to start and attack the ball. You can see there, fended off by Kernahan. Bays might just have to start getting in front, backing himself and running at the ball instead of being preoccupied with the man.
Anderson and Bickley doing very well near the centre of the ground as we see Kernahan kick and put it through, scores a level. Stephen Kernahan setting South Australia alight. He's kicked 3. 5-5 apiece. Who would have believed this at quarter time?
Well, they've got similar setups, both teams on their forward line. 2 big fellows who do rely on their marking, their overhead marking. Good kick again by Bickley. Quickly into the forward line. Kernahan fending off with the left and marking with the right.
Scores level. The South Australian vice-captain playing his 300th senior game tonight as the Vic bench looks on. Frawley and Lambert were there. They'd be itching to get a crack at it. Maybe Frawley will in a moment. At full back, who knows? 5-5 apiece. South Australia with a run. Jarman held up. Russell round the body. Not too far. Tap forward by Nayley. Still Nayley. Left-hand handball had some pace. McDermott. The old 1-2 to Nayley. Won't he be loving it out there tonight? Played in the South Adelaide team on Saturday that beat Port Adelaide. Here's Francis. Still with Francis. South Australia on top for the moment. Jarman in the pocket, has to sit and wait. Couldn't take it. O'Donnell being held by Russell. Off the ground, Hinkley. And that was good football by Hinkley because Jarman would have been away.
And Jarman appealing for a kicking in danger then, Bruce.
South Australian bench, Pittman, Saliba, Kapler there, and Modra. Half forward, South Australia attacking.
I'm looking forward to seeing Adam Saliba when he comes on to this. Francis, who's been very good, he's dragged off the ball then. Umpire obviously deeming he was in possession, so it will be a bounce 50 metres from the South Australian goal, but really it's been all their way this term, Don.
Yes, Peter, you just can't afford in these games, can you, to give your opponent that much latitude because they'll just, again, get back in with pure skill. They just can't be denied.
Here's Bradley to the pocket. It's all Victoria and Ken Hinkley back with the flight of the ball to take a safe mark. Now he brings it across the face goal. Hanna and Hall. Can Hall get there? No, he can't. Millen Hanna had a great season for the Blues. That's Carlton. Hanna to the half-back line, but a good mark by Wanganeen. Geez, a good player, Gavin Wanganeen.
Played league football at 16 for Port Adelaide, a premiership at 17. Well, Hines chopped off Carey there. Ruse. Now Jarman sweeps the handball back to Wanganeen. 70 metres from goal. Drop punt, gets a bit of distance. Kernahan with a fly. Wind well played in the front spot to get back. Obbs' handball, left foot by Maynard. Goal. South Australia in front. Brilliant football, inspired football by the Crow Eaters to lead by 6 points.
And the Victorian team making a change. Couch going off for Victoria. And Hocking coming on, Gary Hocking. But they're doing this well, and this is the way they've got a lot of their goals up forward. There it is, Maynard running onto it. They're getting underneath the feet of the fellows flying. And Maynard's done it again. He wanders down from back line to forward.
South Australia by 6 points as Andrew Collins tries to crash through. There's Anderson, who's having a great game to the centre of the ground. Hines in towards the half-forward line. Oh, was that a free kick? No, it's a good mark taken by Mark Harvey. Well, he certainly doesn't lack courage. We see that time and time again. Out wide is Harvey. Now Mick McGuan goes for a run. One bounce and then kicks very, very long to the half-forward line, and Jim Stein's a good mark.
Fended Leslie off well then. What a great effort by Harvey down the other end of the ground.
Jimmy Stein in towards full forward. The big arms of Salmon. Oh, he dragged. That should be a free kick to South Australia. That must come back against Salmon, and it'll be 50 metres as well. So things not going the way of Victoria at the moment.
There's an act of frustration by Salmon.
So Mitchell, not sure if he knew exactly what was going on, but went for the left foot shot for goal and has given 50 metres away. It's got to go back to Smart, who started on the interchange.
I still think that's a great move by Corns to bring Smart on.
Goes short to Hines, who's been pretty good. Going to be run down. Still gets some sort of a kick away straight onto the chest of Nayley, who I think also has been a very important contributor. The whole balance of the forward line changed when Modra went off and Nayley came on. McGarry medalist last year. Short to Kernahan. A bit fancy on a night like tonight. Didn't really half volley it. Still Kernahan. Will he kick his fourth drop punt? Gives it a go. It's there. It's a goal. For Kernahan. He's standing tall tonight. He sticks. And South Australia leads by 2.
Well, he showed he's just not relying on his marking there. Nayley put it out in front. It wasn't really a good pass, but he really did follow up well then, Kernahan. The quick snap, he just carried his wine, got his hand to it as it went over the line.
Two goals the margin. South Australia on fire. Hines has really lifted them at the centre bounces. Here's the brilliant Robert Harvey. Brings it in towards the half-forward line. Smart versus Salmon. You would think Smart would win on the ground, but good play by Salmon to get it to Champion. Now Wanganeen with class. Now Nigel Smart and Richard Champion combining. The two blondes. Champion wide. Francis having a very good night. Tony Francis. Now there's loose men everywhere to the half-back line. Taken by Maynard. Off and running is Anderson, who's having a top quarter. Centre wing. David Hines. The West Coast Eagle utility player, thumped the ground. Nayley was there. Hines shuffled across. Here's a chance for Scott Russell. In the goal. Touch right on the line. And, well, they've got running players and loose men everywhere, South Australia. It's a dangerous period here for the Vicks.
7-6-5-5. Victoria scoreless in this term. South Australia's kick 6-2. The kick, Hines did very well again. Still with Hines. Caught, run over the top rim. Shaw holding, in the back against Shaw.
Shaw trying to get onto Jarman. He's wanting someone to man the mark.
Too far out Hines. Kernahan wine getting back for Kernahan. He'll go now and at the back bays. Well played, Victoria. Hannah's kick from the back pocket. Back to centre wing. Steins versus too good mark against Leslie. A terrific mark by Steins. The little gift to Burke. Burke on to Hinkley. Hinkley in the centre square. Goes to full forward. Salmon getting rid of Smart and giving away a free kick for the second time. And Peter McKenna, you're a genius. You said Smart should have been back in the first place. He's champion.
Well, he should have been played right at the start. Nigel Smart is a class player. As we see, Steins is having a terrific quarter. David Hines in towards Kernahan at the back, but chipping across the front and taking a great mark is Scott Wine. Gee, there's some good players out there tonight. And Wine not letting Victoria down. It's a wobbly old kick, though. It's all South Australia at the centre. This is Richard Champion always played a free kick.
Yeah, I agree with the umpire on that one.
Well, it's Barry Mitchell to the half-forward line. Oh, free kick to Gary Lyon, no doubt about that one. Lyon almost in the centre, slightly
by himself. Look, Harvey by himself, but he doesn't see him.
Well, this is Tony Shaw at half-forward. Onto the left foot, the chip pass. And he's found his Collingwood teammate McGuan. Another chip pass. Here's a chance for the Vicks. And the mark has been taken by Robert Harvey.
Yeah, he was by himself at centre half forward when Gary Lyon had the ball. Lyon elected to go left. Harvey was on the right by himself, and he's wandered down in the forward pocket. That's bad checking by his opponent.
Robert Harvey. They need this Victoria. He kicks and he goes.
It's
remaining. It's taken Victoria 17 minutes to get their first goal in the term. Mitchell taps it on. Gary Hocking, who's come onto the ground. O'Donnell's left foot kick towards half forward. Leslie and Anderson, two former Port Adelaide players. Peter McKenna's already mentioned how many champions they've produced in the past. Left foot by Anderson. Back to centre wing. Well played by Hines cleverly. To Obst, another Port Adelaide player, as he goes to full forward for Kernahan, who sets himself, tries to take it on his chest. Naley, brilliant, he'll go for it, drop punt, or misses. Should have absolutely eaten it alive, Naley. It was brilliant the way he trapped it.
The lights actually got in Kernahan's eyes on that occasion when flying for the ball.
Well, he wears contacts too. He wears contact lenses and apparently doesn't see so well at night, Don. As the kick to the half-back line, although he's doing pretty well for a guy who doesn't see so well. There's Naley again. As you said, he should still be playing AFL football. Here's Andy Collins. To the half-forward line. Bickley. Now, free kick for a push-out. It will go to, geez, an honest player, Mark Bickley. He's almost on centre wing as he brings it in towards the half-forward line. Scott Mine, the big arms are there. It's thumped on by Tony Hall. That was good play. And he goes in to try and get it again. Off the ground by Harvey. A chance for the pacey players to race after this one. And look at Jarman. Have a look at that by Jarman. Don't tell me he's going to get this again. Great play, Darren Jarman. Now Kernahan. Now Bradley. Oh, that was set up by Jarman as Bradley kicks in towards goal. Across the face, and is it a free? No, it's not. It'll be a throw-in.
Still quiet tonight, Bradley. Not quite 100%. It was magnificent by Jarman, wasn't it? The way he outran Shaw and kept the footy in and gave it to Kernahan. Wine goes against Kernahan. They lock arms together. Kernahan should have given away a free kick. It should go to Wine. It does. Quickly to Hinkley. Victoria have steadied, you feel, in the last minute or so. Hinkley to Hannah. Sweeps it out wide. The Vicks are away. They've got a paddock. Tony Shaw can run with it. Short to Mitchell. The quick gives okay.
That's good, Bays.
The two Sydney players on the field combining, but smothered off the boot by Hines again. Russell to Bickley. To Obbs. Can South Australia rebound and make Victoria pay for it? Drop punt. Naley goes with Harvey. Sitting and waiting. Francis should kick a Rovers goal round the body and does. Day's mistake in the centre. 8-7 to 6-5.
The more I see this little fella, the more impressed I am with him. Tony Francis, when he first came across, all he really did possess was speed. But now he's really got the Rovers now. He's picking up goal, he kicks down the ground, he's prepared to smother, he can do it up the forward line, and he passes the ball so well. He's a good little player.
The margin is 14 points. South Australia's way, and no doubt about Hines at the centre. Oh, McDermott, great play to Francis. Tony Francis in towards half forward, and the mark has been taken by Scott Russell. The two Magpies combining, and Scott Russell will kick from approximately 45 metres.
Tony Hall was by himself, making a lead into the forward pocket. Again, the skill of Tony Russell.
Tony Francis.
Tony Francis.
Scott Russell. Gee, this will make it hard for Victoria if he kicks this one. He's almost directly in front. Scott Russell. Not a bad kick. It's a goal. Well, he's very happy, Scotty Russell, as South Australia kick clear 9-7 to 6-5.
Gee, Don, you must wonder about if that's the scoring. And he's dumped that from 45 metres and it's covered the goals by about 15 metres.
Well, 15 goals have been scored, Bruce, in this game. And 2 have been scored down the other end. That's a great kick by Scott Russell.
Well, I asked the question, Don, because there's very little breeze blowing, but they're just making the goals easy from the right-hand side. McGuan out of the centre. The Vicks need one here. They trail by 20 points. Harvey, not quite champion with confidence, rides a bump. Left-hand handball. McDermott duck, got away with it. Jarman's been superb. Drop punt to centre half forward. Carey at the back. No free kick to Victoria. Russell opts with courage. Quick handball to Carey. Back to Naley, who's been excellent. Kernahan on a lead. He'll have to half volley it. Bays, well done. Clever. Went to the boundary and did it like a defender should. Had a Torrid evening tonight, Bays. He's had some moments, but so's Kernahan.
But he tried something before, Bruce. Okay, it didn't come off. He had it smothered up the other end. There's the kicks. You can see there.
It's incredible
dominated
difference.
by South Australia. But he's prepared to run up the ground and get a kick, and that's at least trying something, Bays.
Well, there's Hinkley off the side of the boot. Oh, good play by Maynard. How's McDermott? Now Hines. Carey is there also. Now Nayley. Nayley to the pocket. Tony Hall. Oh, was it a marking? Almost grabbed it. Scott Russell around the corner. This could be another one. Yes, it is. Scott Russell has kicked his second, and South Australia bolting away. 10-7 to 6-5.
Well, Barry Mitchell now off the ground. Craig Lambert on, but again, Nayley figuring, and he's done wonders since he's come onto the ground. Russell, quick snap. South Australian 10.
South Australia's kicked 9 goals, 3 to Victoria, 1 goal in this term. Victoria now going to attack. As Don said, Lambert's come on for Mitchell. Smart played it well to Wanganeen, who goes for a run. A second bounce. Scott to try and run him down. Left foot towards centre wing. Tony Shaw in the box seat. Tony Hall over the back. Maynard. Left-hand handball. McDermott gone that time, surely. Lyon caught him.
Yep.
Got rid of the first one, but not the second.
He's done a lot of heavy work, though, McDermott, hasn't he?
Well, when he got it out to Francis a moment ago, kicked it to Russell, it was just terrific play by the captain. Here's Harvey at centre wing, half forward. Started extremely well in the first term. Centering kick, Tony Shaw.
Courage.
Anderson at the back with McGuan. Jarman, Lambert, good hands, gave it to Lyon. Lyon, Steins with a height advantage. Well played, Leslie, but surely Salmon, left foot off the ground, his third goal. A good effort by the Fish, the big man there, at 10-7 now to 7-5, and he's kicked 3 goals, 3 salmon.
And Harvey again figuring, he got the kick out wide. He is probably Victoria's best player, Harvey. Combined well with Wind at the last bounce down. Got it out of the centre really easily, and doing that well, Salmon. Let's see what they do here, because Harvey will run on the left of Wind. If he gets the hit down, he's starting behind him now. No, he's gone to the other side. You can see there, they're working something out, those two.
Well, here's Scott Russell, a quick kick to the wide open spaces. Tony Francis and Andrew Collins. Well done by Collins, looking for Burke. Burke off the ground. That's Nathan Burke looking for Lambert, but it beats him over the line. It's almost at half forward for Victoria. There's Craig Lambert, very fine player for the Richmond club. Great possession winner. Not a great kick of a ball, but one of the best handballers in the competition. There's Steins. He missed it. Darren Jarman, quick kick to centre wing. Oh, Francis, that should be a free kick. The umpire said holding. He was just unloaded with a charge.
Well, you're allowed to charge someone.
You are not when the bloke's got their head down and you're unprotected.
Of course you are. It's called a shirt front.
Well, we'll have a look. What chances of bloke like Francis going for the ball? What's this? Oh, that's fair, is it?
Well, I mean, what do you want Harvey to do?
The knees in the head.
Well, he was down low. Harvey jumped high. It's just one of those things in football.
Well, I know he'll be getting the free kick. You have a look at this.
Okay, then there's the free kick because he's probably held it.
Now watch this. Oh, knee to the head. Come off it. Tony Francis was the man who went for the ball, and he's got the kick on centre wing. He was the man who had the courage. In towards half forward. Oh, great mark, Carey. What a top mark. He'll kick from 55.
Maynard down in the forward pocket. Now he's playing on the half-back line on Lyon, but Lyon's at least with him. He's prepared to run, Maynard.
Wayne Carey, a vital kick this one, as he brings it in towards the square. It hits the deck. There's a goal to Obst. South Australia can do no wrong. Andrew Obst playing a great game, has put it through. 11-7, South Australia, Victoria 7-5.
Well, I think those Victorian defenders will have to just wake up because it's becoming a little too predictable. I would say they've scored 4 goals like this, South Australia. Look, Obst is by himself. And McDermott started it. Obst. Also, Maynard got a quick one down there too.
10 goals in this term for South Australia. A remarkable turnaround. Wine, Russell went against him. He's really lifted. McDermott's been excellent in the crunch. Hinkley caught, no holding on. It'll be a bounce down. 11-7, 7-5. Tony Francis appears to have recovered. He's in the pocket with Collins. A very good crowd here. Close to 40,000 you'd expect. Wine wins the tap. Bradley, handball didn't go far. Bickley was held up. Left foot by Burke to centre half forward. Victoria needs a couple of goals before half time. Leslie, Scott off the ground. Now Wanganeen ducked his head and got a free kick.
Ducked the head.
That's lucky.
Really decided, I think, he'd play for it from the first, didn't you, there? He was in trouble and just went to ground, head down, and got away with it. South Australia are on top, confidently there.
Bickley by himself
to
out of wing.
Well, Bickley got away, and I think that's one of the reasons Couch went off earlier. Here's Bickley's kicked a half forward. Out of position, Carey. Roos, who's had his colours lowered tonight. Hall. Now Collins chips a pass to Harvey. Scott's there's his pace here. Scott quickly on to Harvey at centre wing. Harvey goes inside with a left-hand handball to Hinkley.
Kenny Hinkley, the Geelong halfback, in towards half-forward. They need someone to take a mark here. Steins off the ground as it rolls towards the goals and just trickles over the line and through for a behind. But he's dangerous, Jimmy Steins, in that situation. Just under 3.5 minutes of play left in the second term. An amazing quarter of football by South Australia. You wouldn't have believed it at quarter time, because the first quarter was all Victoria. But in front of their home crowd, Don, they really grow a leg, don't they?
They play on emotion, adrenaline.
Richard Champion, Brisbane Bears player, to the half-back line. There's Nigel Smart. Good play by Smart to get away from full-back and receive. On to Bickley, who's playing a good, solid game. Mark Bickley, the centre wing. Tony Hall, the flyer, and he takes a great mark. Up he goes. Loose men everywhere for South Australia. This is Maynard. Maynard chips it high. Kernahan. Oh, Kernahan has marked a top mark.
You watch Kernahan when he goes to the ball. He fends off with one hand and goes with the other. Watch this. You'll see their left hand out. Look, fending off. And just at the critical time, both hands together. Just unsettling his opponent, allowing him space to get between his opponent and the ball.
Well, he's kicked 4. He will have to kick from 50 on a 45-degree angle, or probably a little bit worse than that. But he brings it in towards the square. A chance for the high flyers. Oh, Carey nearly took that one too. Tony Hall is there. And it looks like Gary Lyon also. And it will be a bounce right in front of the South Australian goal.
73-48. Wind, who's played very well. Kernahan goes with him, taps it back, but Hannah able to get a left foot kick away. Carlton teammate Shaw fell over. McGuan fell over, or pushed over by Jarman. Free kick goes back to McGuan. Could feel Jarman on him. Mickey McGuan, good kick to Harvey. It should sit all right. Harvey, who, as Don said, probably Victoria's best player. Not a good handball, but McGuan was clever enough. Now here's a chance.
Good kick.
Try to check side now. O'Donnell. It sits up for him to Lyon. Now Lambert's the go. Over the top. Slow handball. Not very good. Lambert has to wait. Got rid of 2 opponents. McGuan ran on for him. Steins wants it long. So does Salmon. A chance for Victoria. Hocking's at the back. Oh, good mark. Not paid to Champion. Now Hocking tries to crash his way through. He can't do it. It's hurled up at centre half forward.
Great attempt, wasn't it, by Richard Champion?
Well, he
almost took it.
Left hand out there, hanging there, and he has a bit of a smile now. South Australia leads 11-7. Victoria Wine still dominating in the hit-out department.
Well, here's Lambert. Well done by Steins.
Should have made better with that Lambert, because he was going onto the left foot, Peter.
Well, I said earlier, he is not a good kick, Craig Lambert, but he is a great handballer. That's why he handballs so much, I feel, too, as we're getting towards half-time. A sensational quarter by South Australia. Richard Champion, a well-directed kick to Bradley, who's been pretty quiet. And no wonder, Nathan Burke picking him up. He's a terrific stopper, Nathan Burke. Bradley to centre wing.
Oh, well
so with a
done,
free kick
Lyon.
the line, it should have been anyway.
That's using your body, Peter. No hands, no holding, just using the body to perfection.
Dead right, Don, and they need one before half-time, Victoria. Oh, look at that for a mark. And that's taken by Champion.
Not a good kick, though, Peter. Good mark, but unbalanced with the kick and out on the full. But has Victoria got the time? Collins quickly to Lambert. We're in the dying seconds of this second term, a term dominated by brilliant South Australian football. Salmon and Steins, a big fly. A chance for Hocking. Siren goes. And no score. I think he kicked it after the siren in any case. So in a brilliant second quarter, the South Australia kicked 10 goals 3 to 2 goals 2 by Victoria. That must rate as one of the great terms of football that this state has played in the State of Origin series. McDermott set the scene with an early goal. Steins has kicked the goal. Wanganeen's had the job on Scott, has held him in the second quarter. Nailey's been very important to South Australia after coming on halfway through this. Kernahan has kicked 4 goals and has been inspirational. Bickley set it up early, and Carey's played very well. It's half-time. The Crow Eaters are 4 goals in front. Seven McGuan into the centre. Both Scholl and Kapler are on. Don, and they're standing one another. Scholl for Victoria, David Kapler for South Australia.
Well, I'm glad to see David Kapler out there. He was there at South Adelaide when I was there, and he was a real goer.
Carey goes for Kernahan on the lead. Big stretch by Kernahan. Bays at the back. Running it out was Hinkley, tapping it over the line, and Victoria under pressure immediately here. Hinkley, the star from Geelong. Now there's Saliba and Modra and Anderson at the far end, and Pittman. So you just think that Anderson must have some sort of a niggle not to start the second half, because he was one of the players who helped turn it around. Here's Nailey, weaves his way through. Russell's already kicked 2. Here's a chance. It'll roll and just miss. Gee, he gave it a ride, didn't he, for a behind? Totally out of form, Russell, until the last week. He played brilliantly against Richmond, but he must have been close to getting the axe at one stage. Couldn't buy it, kick.
Yes, he had a very bad patch there for a few weeks, Scott Russell. But came back to form, as you said, Bruce, last week. Mark Bays, he's got the big job on Kernahan. Kernahan's kick 4. Scott Wine takes a good mark at half-back. Off he goes to Scholl. Now this is Mick McGuan. Chip pass. He's found his Collingwood teammate, Tony Shaw. Shaw to the half-forward line. This is Scholl. I'm glad to see him on the ground because he's a very talented player, Craig Scholl. North Melbourne player, of course, in towards half-forward. And no, the mark dropped by Salmon. It was a sitter. So a let-off there for South Australia. Still Salmon in there after it. Robert Scott, who disappeared out of the game in the second term. He was brilliant in the first.
Yeah, set one up for Salmon, didn't he? And kicked a goal himself. Peter Carey, Michael Abbott in charge tonight as the umpires. Must be a big thrill for them. Hines went underneath Steins. Steins out to Salmon. Good take, good handball. Rouge should kick the goal. He does. Touch of class, well played. Steins' first touch was excellent, and Victoria get the goal that was so important after half-time at 11-8 to 8-7.
Well, I was impressed with the way Salmon came out, hit the ball hard, followed in the straight line, and then fed it off. Look, straight up the ground, and good running by Rouge to come past. Something you do at training. You don't often see it in a game.
Well, Rouge is playing at centre-half forward now on Maynard. Oh, that's not good news for Carlton. Look, that's Millum Hannah with an ankle heavily bandaged. Well, the ball on the deck. Robert Harvey brings it out. Kicked by Gary Lyon. I think he's playing at centre-half back line. Well, good use of the body by Bradley there. Bradley to the half-forward line. It's thumped the ground. Still, Gary, well, eventually, it was meant to be a thump away by Gary O'Donnell. Then he grabbed it on the second bite, so it's a mark as he brings it in towards half-forward.
Steins and Leslie. Leslie at the back. Scott tried to read it. Kicked it through Hines' hands. Here's Francis, who copped the hard one early. Now Harvey, all good for Hocking for a goal. Drop punt, misses. Should have straightened up and gone for it. You couldn't believe that he missed completely there, would you?
Well, he just didn't even bring his body around or bring the ball around, Bruce. He more or less kicked in the same direction in which he was running.
A poorer performance than Nailey's earlier for South Australia in the second term. Smart's kick. Now Roos on his own should take it, and he does. Hines was held up by Wind at the back. So Victoria's coming up pretty well here. Shell-shocked in the second term. A lot of positional changes. Centering kick to Salmon. Salmon, oh, well played, smart. He did it very well. Jarman. Quick kick away to centre half forward. Nayley and Collins. Now Russell. Hall running for him, and so's Kernahan. Kernahan waited for it. Now Hall. Back to Kernahan and Bays. Bays well played. Quick left foot. Nayley waits for it. Brilliant Nayley, and a lovely little chip pass. Or Carey went with the one hand. Kernahan tracks it superbly. Left foot round the body, and Hinkley in the right spot to take the mark. Runs off Carey quickly and goes out to half-back.
Yeah, it's great play by Hinkley. It was good use of the body too by Bradley. Gee, that was clever. It was great play to Chris McDermott. McDermott across the face, and will it be marked at will by the Hawthorn back pocket player, Andy Collins, as he kicks it long. It's a shocking kick, though.
He didn't look where he's kicking it, Peter.
He's kicked it straight to Bickley. Bickley to the half-forward line. The high flyers are there. The ball hits the deck. Scott Wine on to Hinkley. Further afield is Mark Harvey. Harvey to half-forward. Again a poor kick. Straight to Maynard. Maynard goes wide to Bickley, and Bickley will drive South Australia forward again. Collins is there, but chipping across with him is Carey. On the Hall. Tony Hall in towards goal. Oh, that might have been touched right on the line. In fact, it had rolled over. One behind only, and maybe Craig Bradley should have shepherded that one through.
Carey's play excellent there. 11.987, just whipped around Collins, gave a quick handball onto Hall, who kicked it superbly. What's the story with Milhana, Tim Watson?
Well, Milhana's got a jarred ankle, and I spoke to him just a moment ago, and he said that he won't be taking any further part in the game.
So not good news for Victoria, and hopefully G line flattened, and down the ground it'll be Steins.
Silly play, Richard Champion.
Steins quickly to Lambert. Now Jarman will go against him, but Lambert takes a good mark within, well, you'd say within scoring range. He's going to kick from...
McGuan's on his right, he can go short.
He's going to go for goal now, Don, with a drop punt. And it's a good-looking kick off the boot, just missing a behind for Lambert.
And I can understand why McGuan's looking at Lambert, saying, why didn't you kick it to me? There he is answering him back. Craig Lambert answering Mickey McGuan.
Well, Tony Shaw kicked it to him in the second quarter, and then McGuan kicked it to Harvey, who kicked a goal.
He should have given that off to McGuan, because there was no one near him for 30 metres. There's Wanganeen to the half-back line. No free kick. Maynard in after it. There's McDermott. Gee, works hard. Look at that. Then Maynard, Champion again. Hocking goes in hard. Scott Russell read that very well. Kicks it across the ground. A wobbly ball right out towards the boundary line. Tony Francis versus Tony Shaw, the two Collingwood teammates. Well done by Francis, as he found Nayley. He just had too much pace for the Collingwood captain then. Nayley to half forward. Was Carey held? I think
yes,
he was. Is the advantage being paid? Darren Jarman, a brilliant kick. Back towards Kernahan. It's a loose ball. Tony Hall races in after it. Taken by Mark Harvey. He'll clear the ball to the half-back line. Still danger, though, as Carey gets at the ground. Harvey, was he held? He was. So it'll be a free kick to Robert Harvey at half-back.
See those little fellows cutting Victoria apart, Nayley and Francis.
It's like the old days, Don, with Nayley, McGuinness and Platten in the old days. Here's McGuan from centre wing. Scott and Wanganeen has had a terrific duel. Brilliant Mark Scott in the front spot. Two similar types of players, brilliant explosive footballers. Scott with a bit more experience. Centering kick, Salmon the target. Do a host of Victorians there. Steins and Salmon raffle it, and they both had a share of it.
Actually, that's really living dangerously, because Roos tried to centre it earlier to Salmon. It was swept away. If you don't take the ball, the opposition can take it away from that situation.
Steins has kicked one. You'd have to question the mark too, Don. Surely Salmon had as much of it as Steins. Steins goes for goal, gets the distance as he snuck it through, hits the post or behind. The point I'm making,
I didn't think it was a mark, because it came off Salmon first. I think let's have a look. I reckon Salmon got first bite. Oh no, I think the umpire was right.
Champion to bring it back in 11-9 to 8 goals 9.
Richard Champion always kicked it straight to Steins, and it's taken away by Scholl. He chips it in. Oh, that's a very poor kick by Craig Scholl as he kicks it straight to Nigel Smart. Smart to the half-back line. It's thumped away by Nathan Burke, and he has worn Craig Bradley like a glove tonight. He really is a determined little customer. South Australian supporters here with full voice tonight. They were delighted with that second term when they kicked 10 goals. The umpires found a push here.
Works the ball well, doesn't he, Scott White?
That's Lambert giving it to Gary Hocking. Now on to Nathan Burke in towards the pocket. Champion in front. Ruse at the back. And it rolls over the line. Forward pocket for Victoria.
Ruse the goal scorer in this term for Victoria. They kicked the only goal of the term so far. And within 3 goals, after they led by 4 at quarter time. Steins clearly. Salmon sits and waits for it. Smart just worried him out of it. Francis has been very, very good. A quick kick away. McGuan's had some touches on Jarman in this term.
Oh, well done.
Played it brilliantly. Chip past to Ruse. Can go for goal off one leg and bangs it towards the goal square and kicks it behind.
Gee, that was well done by McGuan.
Not often Jarman's outsmarted as McGuan did in that occasion. 8-10, 11-9. But again, you feel gee, well played, wasn't it?
Was that throwing the ball?
Leslie at centre-half back.
Martin Leslie. Wanganeen was running past, but good play by Leslie not to give it to him because he was covered. Centre wing. Players go in hard after all. Nearly a throw by Bickley. Well smothered by Wine.
Good play.
And he knocks it on to Robert Scott. Robert Scott chips it in towards half forward and Steins has taken the mark. Now Leslie will have to get back on the mark here. Steins another chip pass and he has found Craig Lambert. So poor checking that by South Australia.
It was well within kicking distance. Let's hope he makes a better fist of it this time. Craig Lambert.
Craig Lambert.
Already kicked 2 points.
3 and 3. He's had up starting on interchange. Lambert, a very high ball. Oh, it's very close. He might have snuck this one in for a goal. Yes, he has. So Victoria fight back after that goal to Craig Lambert. It's his first. 11-9 plays 9-10, so it's a different ball game now.
Well, all the goals are being kicked down this end of the ground. There's Lambert's kick for goal. That's his first. He kicked 2 points prior to that. And Victoria chipping it around on that occasion. It was Scott to Steins and then Lambert by himself and a chip from Steins across to Lambert.
11-9, 9-10. South Australian free kick in the centre for infringing over the line. Don, 17 out of the 20 goals have been to the right. So it's an extraordinary figure on a night where there doesn't seem to be much breeze. Hines kicked towards the 50-metre line, getting back Hinkley in the front spot. Kernahan was the player between the two. Well, you look at the windsock and there's not much there, is it? But 17 of the 20 goals to the right-hand side. It's got to be more than coincidental. The kick from Collins to Burke at half-back. Victoria has really lifted here. They've taken the initiative from South Australia, starting with the big man in the centre in Wine as Burke kicks from half-back.
It's Nathan Burke. Oh, that might be out in the full. No, the mark has been taken there by Ruse right on the line. The 2 number 1s there, Ruse and Champion. Paul Ruse to the half-forward line and going back with the flight is Craig Scholl. Good mark. Now he's about 70 metres from goal. He should get it down quickly to Salmon. Salmon's calling for, oh, he goes for a torpedo punt. That wasn't good play. Should have set it up for Salmon. That could be against Robert Scott here. No, it isn't. But really, why they go those long torps instead of...
Well, it wasn't even a torp, it was a mongrel punt.
But he attempted a torp.
I know.
Should have set it up for Salmon, who was 1 out.
Steins to go against Leslie. Salmon wins the tap cleverly. Hocking, a handball. Harvey's kick round the body, misses it behind. Victoria peppering away at 11-9 to 9-11. Just wondering about Greg Anderson, Donny. I think he'd have to be, injured because...
They're missing his drive, aren't they?
Well, Scholl's had a couple of kicks on David Kapler, who's led twice from kick-outs and has had the ball taken off him. Don't want to pinpoint him so far, but you'd think Anderson's got to be injured. Left foot by Wanganeen. Bickley, well played. Now maybe South Australia's Bickley kicks the Hall at centre half forward. A brilliant mark.
Right,
Kernahan with a chance here. The kick's right, hanging on Bays. Kernahan for his 5th goal. Goes for it and kicks it. 5 for Kernahan.
Kernahan keeps this up. He's kicked 5. As Adelaide Crows will be getting that checkbook out again, Bruce. But look out, Carlton, as it's socket off the ground to the half-forward line. Oh, no mark. Still a chance for the Crows. Here's Nailing for South Australia, I should say, the chip pass. And the mark has been taken by Tony Hall. Now, Be doubtful at the distance here, Tony, since he's had that knee operation. He'll kick it fairly high as he normally does. It should land up near the square. Here's the kick. Hall up towards the goal square. Kernahan at the back. Comes off the hands of Whitten. And in fact, he taps it over the line for a behind.
It's a critical goal, that one kicked then, as far as Victoria was concerned, because there was a 10-point margin. Went out to 16, now 17 points.
Bays goes wide, looks for Scholl, takes the mark, winning that wing in the third term. Coming off the interchange at half-time. Scholl's kick up to centre wing. Leslie at the back of Steins. Missed by Kepler, taken by Collins. Handball ineffective, but Shaw mops up. High drop punt. Wanganeen and Scott, they've been very good together. Now Bradley to Hines. Handball with some power to Leslie. Now Kepler's first touch. Left foot kick. Gets some distance. Lyon and Carey. Lyon's gone back to centre half back and Roos up forward, as we said earlier. Now Harvey, high kick back towards Leslie and Scholl. Leslie timed it pretty well. Tapped on cleverly by Lambert, but the champion able to do the job. Goes over to Leslie. Leslie at half forward, goes towards Lyon in the box seat. Hinkley played it well. Read brilliantly, though, by Russell. High left foot. Kernahan versus Bays again. Kernahan in the front spot, as he's been most of the night. Bays happy that time to see it run out.
Watching David Kepler there, Don, it's a mirror image of his brother, Darren.
Well, he's the older brother, Peter.
As we see Billy Goggin looking on, and he'd be a worried man at this stage. Kernahan versus Whitten, the arms lock. Ball hits the deck. Hinkley back towards the boundary line. Scott Russell takes it over. Danger here for Victoria. They would not want a goal scored here in this little passage of play. There's Scott Russell, who's proved very dangerous tonight. Again, Kernahan versus Whitten. Whitten hooks it down with the left hand. The dangerous Nailey has caught. Threw it away to Kernahan. Still a chance. Tony Hall brought down. And the trip, he was led. I thought Kernahan threw that ball. Or was it Nailey, I should say?
Very quick by Nailey, but he roved it well.
Let's see if we can see the throw there.
It's before that.
Just before that. It was from Nailey. Now, Tony Hall directly in front. He was responsible for a goal a moment ago for Kernahan. He is directly in front, 20 metres, goal. So South Australia doing it very, very well. Tony Hall kicks his first, and they lead 13-10 to 9-11.
There's Nailey getting the ball away. There's the throw. But was that a trip because he started around the hips and went down? Maybe yes.
(88-65), so after 17 of the first 20 were kicked at the right. South Australia kicked the next two to the left. Obst to Kernahan. Couldn't take that one. Hinkley well played, but also brilliantly done by Nailey to hold it up and push it towards goal. And, gee, he's been impressive, hasn't he?
He's still a great player, Nailey.
Well, it must be such a moment for him tonight. Playing at South Adelaide, won the McGarry medal last year. Reason probably he's not playing for the Crows is he came from Carlton and they've been hoping to get a Kernahan or a Bradley
and he had
under the moratorium.
Lots of hamstring trouble at Carlton too.
Quick hands there needed by McDermott, unable to get it away. Good tackling on Hall, that time by Hinkley, and a bounce down. So Don, suddenly South Australia's been able to take the initiative away from Victoria, who came out very well as Couch getting ready to come back.
I can see Richard Loveridge out there. Victorian runner, there he is in foreground. Ready to make some moves.
Whitten winning the tap. Russell goes to ground. Lambert over the top. And again, a bounce down. And this would not worry Graham Corns one iota at this stage with a 4-goal lead.
Well, there's Gary Hocking, who missed a sitter of a goal early in the term. Danny Frawley hasn't had a run yet. Well, it's going to be very difficult for Victoria. There's Kernahan punching it back towards the half-forward line. Nailey went to ground. There he is, Mark Nailey at the bottom of the pack. There'll be a bounce about 40 metres from the South Australian goal. And that was a big move by Graham Corns when he brought Nailey on to go down and help Kernahan. He took Modra off. Still at half-forward for South Australia, and a stalemate. McDermott, the ball locked underneath him. Again, will be a bounce.
South Australia deep in attack. both Maynard and Leslie are loose for South Australia, about 50 metres behind play. So South Australia got the numbers off the ball if Victoria gets it out. So the Vics with a big uphill job here. They need a clean possession. Wine couldn't do it. Carey around the body, caught, goes to ground holding the ball. Scholl doing well since he's come on. The lone North Melbourne player for Victoria kicks the ball to centre wing. Of course, Carey out there for South Australia. Tapped on by Mitchell, who's come back. Brilliantly done by Bickley, who's been very, very good. Burke versus Bradley. Bradley lifting, caught though.
It's caught.
Holding the ball. Well, he's lucky, isn't he?
Oh, I thought he didn't have much chance.
Wine's coming off. Wine's coming off. Couch will go on. Now Steins must have gone onto the ball now.
Well, it's on centre wing, and Victoria not been making any impression whatsoever right at this moment. South Australia has been able to repel everything Victoria has done. There's Lambert trying to get something moving. Still on centre wing. McDermott working overtime as he brings it to the half-forward line. A lot of pushing and shoving going on. Oh, here's Nailey again. And Kernahan, he dives and marks. That is brilliant play by South Australia. That really was good forward play.
It's uplifting play as well. As you see there, Nailey chipping the ball. Kernahan plenty of room to lead.
Well, they might have to bring Frawley on for a run. Kernahan's going for goal number 6. He is a great player in State of Origin. I saw him one time here. I think it was on Bruce Dooley, kicked 10.
1984, Peter.
It's a long time ago, isn't it?
8 long years.
Steve Kernahan for goal number 6. He has missed
Lot of his copybook.
To the right. So
5 goals, 1.
Well, still the margin is 4 goals, and we must remember right of screen is definitely the scoring end.
Hinkley to bring it back in. Frawley is warming up, Peter. I think he'd be getting ready. Hinkley's kick from the back pocket. Hines in a wrestling match. Maynard over the back. Well played. Steins to come in from the side. Francis Shepherd's for Jarman. Jarman clever. Left foot centering kick. Gives Carey a chance. O'Donnell gets rid of him.
Used the body well.
Now Hinkley quickly round the body. Good mark by Lambert, who is at 50 against Jarman. Lambert's been busy. He's had a few touches, missed a couple of chances for goal, and then got one at his 3rd attempt. Roos, his target, the captain, marks it at centre wing. Was beaten in the first half in defence. Has done some reasonable things in this half. The handball okay to Burke. Burke from centre wing with a centering kick to Barry Mitchell, who sits under it. Bickley did very well. Leslie's been okay, not a good kick this time. Taken by Scholl. Now Salmon one out if he gets it quickly. Salmon calling for it in the goal square. Scholl goes for it now with a drop punt. Kicks it very, very well for distance and just misses for a behind. And again, a good indication of the breeze because he was 55 metres out.
And thank goodness he didn't go for that torpedo punt that time. There's Graham Corns, and he'd be happy the way the South Australians have come back. Their first term, they were thrashed by the Vics. And we were starting to think it might be a one-sided game as far as Victoria is concerned, but magnificent second term where they kicked 10 goals. Really set this crowd alight. There's Wanganeen to the half-back line, punched away by Steins. This is Robert Scott from directly in front. Good play by Scott. And I think this could be a goal. Yes! So Robert Scott has kicked his 2nd. The Vics come back. 13-11 to 10-12.
Well, it started with Steins there from that kick out. I will not be convinced that it's defensive play when you punch from behind. Here's the replay. Steins punches down there. Scott had Salmon by himself, but he elected to go for, you can see there's Salmon by himself. He could have done something, went for goal himself, and luckily he kicked it.
13-11, 10-12. Victoria coming back. Gee, Don, I can't see the wisdom of Wanganeen kicking it out. And Scott getting the goal there, leaving his man as the left foot by Lambert out to half forward. Bickley, one of South Australia's best, bounces it back to centre wing. Good mark by Harvey. Runs around, centres it. Scott and Wanganeen again. Scott in the front spot, played Wanganeen at the back. Good take by Harvey. They are brilliant take. Left-hand handball, Nailey, who's been magnificent. To Kapler, to Jarman. Goes for it. Bang, drop punt, running. Oh, brilliant by Hinkley. Oh, that's superb, isn't it? Oh, wouldn't that make the adrenaline flow if you could take one like that?
Well, he is a class player, Ken Hinkley.
Not a bad kick by Jarman, was it?
He was a magnificent kick by Jarman. He kept it low. The punch down by Hines. Here's Kernahan. No, it's not. It's Tony Hall. Hinkley. The kick out of defence. Ruse has livened up that half-forward.
Well, he's playing in front now. Before he was playing from behind. At centre-half forward, you've just got to play in front if you're going to make any mark on the game.
Paul Ruse, a torpedo to the half-forward line. No mark. Oh, Wanganeen, gee, he's a class player. Look at that. Great play to Bickley. Out wide. This is Kepler. David Kepler to the half-forward line. It's no mark. Carey. I thought it was touched first by Lyon, but Carey off and running.
Lyon has hurt himself.
In towards the pocket. Kernahan almost took that one. He's got a couple to beat here. Oh, he beat Mark Hovey's hit very, very hard. In they come after it. Now a chance as Scott Russell picks it up. Races in the goal. Russell across the face and out on the full.
Seems to be all right, Gary Lyon. Trainers have gone out. The physio has brushed them aside.
Melbourne teammate Steins kicks the ball. Burke and Carey, no mark paid. Round the body by Lyon. Very good to Collins. Victoria still within 3 goals. They'll keep coming. Ruse, well done. Just gave Champion a little shove. He's on top of centre half forward. Now Salmon provides the lead. Ruse centres it. Smart has to try and time it. Salmon too strong, just edged him out and took an easy mark. 3 goals. 3 to Salmon, 2 in the first quarter and 1.
This is what Kernahan does to his opponent. See how they just used the arm. Salmon did on that occasion. Just no way known you can get near the ball when the big fellow does that. Kernahan, an expert at it.
Big kick here, really important. You back Salmon from this distance. He's an accurate kick. He's going to kick from about 40 metres. He's kicked 3 goals already. Lines them up, drop punt. He's kicked it superbly straight through the middle. 4 to Salmon. Victoria right in this at 13-11 to 11-12.
Well, I think we've got a game on our hands here now. They're bridging the gap. It's 11 points of difference, and you just can't be denied because these players have got so much talent they can turn a game around. All they have to do is combine, and that is the difficult thing, is combining, because they wouldn't be familiar with one another's games.
Pride at stake. Victoria coming back hard. Tony Shaw's done very well on Tony Francis in this term. He kept him right out of the game. There's a kick off the ground. Well, that's 50 metres. That was not good play by Ruse. Richard Champion now will be brought right up to the attacking side, and
he was behind again, Peter. And that's not real. That's not 50. That's 30.
That was about 35, and the crowd were onto it too. Or was that a nudge out?
Well, that was what Kernahan normally does, and Bayes did it on that occasion.
Well, there's Hinkley to centre wing. Is that a mark? No, it's not. Loose ball to Kepler. Kepler on the left foot, in towards half forward. Players fly for it. There's no mark as it hits the deck. Kick by Nailey in towards goal, across the face. And he swoops on it. He's a dangerous player.
Very quick in hand to foot with the ball.
Well, it'll be a throw-in that forward pocket because the ball bounced across the line. Well, I think we're in for a terrific finish to this game.
Steins and Kernahan in the pocket. Steins won it. France is unable to. Shaw doing the job very well there, holding it up. 89 to 78. It's been a tremendous match. South Australia again with the numbers off the footy from the 50 metres away from the ball with Hines and Maynard. Ruse will be outnumbered 3 to 1 if it comes out in a hurry. Collins trapped it very well. O'Donnell unable to. Ops pulled off the ball by Harvey. And again, it'll be a ball up. South Australia deep in attack. And they'd be pretty happy, I think, if they can go in at 3/4 time with this little cushion.
So come this near flank, Bruce. It's a 3-on-1 situation. Ruse has got Champion, Hines and Maynard.
Kernahan, a good tap over the top. Left foot kick by Russell. Should be taken by Bayes. He does. Swings around onto his left foot. Long kick to the space.
Now that's a good kick.
He timed it, Don. He realised he had to cover Maynard, and he did it very well. Ruse on bad luck for him. off the ground and out on the full.
That was good play, because earlier we mentioned about how Roos was outnumbered 3-1 and 4-1. It was good play by Bays to put it long over the head with a torpedo.
Yes, it was a great kick, that one, as we see Martin Leslie to the half-forward line. Some holding off the ball then. It's going South Australia's way, and it'll go to Carey. Wayne Carey in towards Kernahan. Kernahan and Bays thump the ground. Stein's doing the roving. Oh, good play by Stein. Geez, talented. Now Lyon. Now Mark Harvey. Mark Harvey sweeps it out wide. This is McGuan. Waits for the bounce. Mick McGuan. Hand pass over the top. Mitchell. Now it's Robert Harvey, a chance for Victoria as the kick comes to the half-forward line. Roos. He's been very, very good since being moved to centre half-forward.
It's amazing how the ball is always attracted to movement, because Roos was about the only one offering any movement on that line. Salmon was asking for high, and he was stationary, but Roos was making some movement. The ball attracted to him.
A vital kick. 11 points the margin, a chance to make it 5 points. Paul Roos stabs and sneaks it in for a goal. A great kick. 2 goals to Paul Roos, the Victorian captain, and what a pressure kick that was in a three-quarter time here at Football Park. What a match we've got now. South Australia 13-11-89, lead Victoria 12-12-84.
It'll be a magnificent last quarter. There's a lot at stake here. Interstate pride, 89-84. Who will come home the better? Will the big V prevail, or will the Crow Eaters hang on? Steins' kick, fingertip and missed by Leslie. Just tapped it away. Was it a throw? It's Jarman's little left footer towards centre wing.
Well done.
Yes, Shaw, who's done very well on Francis. Jarman was a bit quick for him early, but Shaw's come back as he always does. Harvey or Jarman, well done to read it well. Harvey put the pressure on him. Jarman's little kick, I think he might have run out of bounds as he kicked it, and it'll come back to centre wing. There's the bench with Modra and Champion and Anderson obviously injured, and Pittman by the look of it in the shadows in the forefront.
Well, it's on centre wing. Steins versus Hines. Hines takes front position. Steins trying to grab it. This is Chris McDermott bursting his way out of that pack in towards half-forward. The mark taken by Hinkley, is playing a tremendous game for Victoria. He is a top player, Kenny Hinkley. To the half-back line, Mark Harvey back with the flight, has taken the mark. Harvey's had a fine season for the Bombers. Brings it to centre wing. It was too high, the kick. Oh, courageous effort. I cannot believe. Oh, fancy not paying that mark. And the crowd giving the umpire the hoots. McDermott in towards Kernahan.
Well done,
almost a mark to Kernahan. Carey went to ground. Adam Saliba's in there too. Well, I can't believe that wasn't paid, that mark. I think it was Bickley, wasn't it, Don? Well, let's have a look. Bickley, and then crashed from behind. And although he did stage it a little bit, still at half forward for South Australia. Thump down. There's a quick kick. Nailey, the dangerous Nailey, tries to hook it back and puts it through for a behind. The crowd here, of course, right behind South Australia. Millum Hanna there, Scott Wind, Gary Hockey, and still Danny Frawley hasn't had a run.
Bays, who did very well in the third term under great pressure from Kernahan, short to Burke. Had the better of Bradley early, but it's been quieter since. Back to Hinkley, measured handball to Harvey.
Quickly.
Saliba runs him down. Well, Burke throws it away. Kernahan tried to check side. Harvey taken off it by McDermott. Good play, McGuan into the centre. Gee, that was an important ball by McGuan. Couch takes the mark. Swings onto his left. Good kick towards Steins. Victoria running. Harvey will provide it. Goes for Salmon. Salmon and Smart, well played Smart. Lambert went straight at him. Harvey, well played again. Left-hand handball. Intercepted by Bickley, who's been superb. Lambert's handball coming back. Sitting and waiting, McGuan. McGuan's left foot goes to the goal square. A chance for Victoria. Roos, here's Couch to kick a left foot goal. Scores a level. All square. Couch, who last year kicked an important goal in the last quarter at the other end. Setting Victoria up tonight, puts them dead square and level.
Well, they did this well, Victoria. Some of these players just starting to slow down a little bit. We saw there McGuan just getting his kick away. nearly lucky not to be run down. But now we've got a game.
Scores a level. Jimmy Steins. There's David Hines. Robert Harvey on left of screen. Terrific atmosphere here. Scoring end has been to right of screen, but the Vics are fighting back. A lot of pride at stake. Players represent their state. They really give everything. 13-12 apiece. Steins versus Hines. Jimmy Steins. Socket off the ground by Darren Jarman. A good kick too, but oh, what a mark by Hinckley. He's playing a superb game. Well, he's a class player in a losing side for Geelong last Saturday. He was easily their best player against the Hawks. There's Couch. Or dangerous as Francis punches it back towards centre wing. A further punch lands with Lambert. This is Craig Scholl. And the Vics are off and running.
Slip Scholl, but able to get it to Harvey. Another important touch for him. Again, McGuan running on. One bounce will go for goal. Long kick to the square. Salmon, front spot, Scott off the ground for a goal. His third. Scott's got three.
Well, that's the way to do it, Bruce. I mean, they were doing it the other end, the South Australians in the second quarter, getting underneath, anticipating. Victoria are also predictable. They've got the big fellow, and McGuan went high. Salmon by himself, got front position. The ball comes to ground, but it's Scott going to run in and watch. Look. And also Mitchell running in there as well. So the little fellow's getting underneath the big fellow's mistakes.
The Vics lead by a goal. Lambert goes to ground. A free kick to Craig Lambert, and the little terrier has made a big difference to Victoria also. The South Aussies have stopped.
I don't know about stop.
Well, the kick by Lambert to the half-forward line. Oh, good play, Nigel Smart. That was excellent.
He was edged under that by Salmon too.
Well, he gives it across to Leslie. Leslie chips it to Scott Russell. Russell at half-back. Now he's looking for the short one. He then elects to kick it round towards the wing, punched down by Harvey. It's a loose ball with Tony Francis. We didn't see him in the third term. Full marks to Tony Shaw because of that. Here's Gary Lyon. Oh, he's lost it. Andrew Obst, the short one. Tony Hall used his body beautifully on Hinckley. Will it sit for him? He picks it up on the boundary line. Oh, look at this. Oh, what a kick, Tony Hall. Sensational goal.
That was the goal of the night. You couldn't describe it. Thank goodness we've got pictures to show you. Fantastic stuff. He used his body exceptionally well. Watch how he edges Hinckley out. He stops, uses, turns him around. Now watch this goal from the boundary. Oh, terrific stuff.
Well, you won't see any better than that. Could have actually run in, I guess, but that's the best goal you'll see in a million years. Russell, I think that should lift. 14-12 apiece. Well, what a contest. I said at the beginning there's been some negative talk about the State of Origin game because of everyone who was missing, but what a match we've had.
Now, listen, there's something wrong with Mickey McGuan. He's asked for the runner to come out. He's been signaling to the bench, so let's hope he's not injured.
Centre bounce, Steins wins the tap. Lambert's quick kick away. Here's McGuan in the action, Don. Went to ground. Saliba fell over, got a free kick.
Very lucky free, wasn't it?
First touch in interstate footy, gives it to Bickley. Well, State of Origin, I should say. To Maynard, called to go on. Stops, props. Still stops and props. Carey worked beautifully for him. Charges for goal. Kicks it right to the square. Big lead by Jarman. Touched it on the way through. South Australia in front by a point. Jarman would have...
He's not happy because he realised he should have marked that, Darren Jarman.
14-13 to 14-12. Bays to bring it back in. Classic game and a big finish coming up.
Over the back was Scholl. He couldn't take the mark. Gary Lyon back to Scholl. Scholl a quick kick. Oh, it's a free kick up the field. I would have thought that free kick should have been played at half back, actually.
Scholl and Carey, teammates at it behind play.
Couch. That's right. Once they cross that white line, it makes no difference. Mark Harvey in towards half forward. That's a free kick to South Australia, I would feel, for interference going for that mark. And it is Rodney Maynard who's very strong. Oh, loose men everywhere for the South Aussies here. as we see David Hines, the West Coast Eagle, bringing in towards half forward. The high flyers are there, Carey being one of them. The ball hits the deck. Nayley out to Tony Hall. Hall wide. Bradley, danger here for the Vicks. Wayne Carey from directly in front, bats it through for a goal.
Actually, that was well done by Carey because Burke was really running him down then. And he just got his kick away just as Burke was laying the tackle. Watch this. Strong play here. Nayley again across to Hall. Bradley in turn to Carey. And Carey just getting his kick as Burke came in.
Fans screaming here. South Australia by 7 points. Shaw went for a kick off the ground. Hines has been terrific. Hobbs run down and hurled up, and a ball up in the centre square. South Australia just in attack by 7 points. McGuan picks himself up. Saliba in the background. Obster's there. It's been a real contest. Now Victoria's turn to come back at South Australia. Lambert was a poor handball to Shoal. Russell was a hot one. McDermott had the strength in the end. Back to Russell. Russell's centering kick to Hall. Well played Hinkley. A good take by Lyon. The danger for Victoria is that Francis will run away from Shaw. Can Scott get there? Francis brilliantly. One hand pick up. Round the body. South Australia with the numbers. They've got two, but they give a free kick away. Very poor play. Maynard and Carey against Lyon, and they gave it away to Lyon, who goes short to Hinkley, who runs off half back.
And Wayne Carey was not impressed with that decision. On to Mick McGuan. He's all right. There's a bounce. Now another one. Over the top. Andrew Collins to the half-forward line. One-on-one. Oh, free kick to Victoria. Holding decision. Will have to come back to Roos. No doubt about that. So the Vicks fight back.
Rodney Maynard covers an incredible amount of ground. Now he's down in the back pocket. He was in the forward pocket earlier.
Paul Roos in towards Salmon. Nigel Smart at the back. Salmon at the front, and Salmon takes a good, strong grab.
He really does run himself ragged. There he is, hands on the head, Rodney Maynard. Well, that was a good mark by Salmon. He had the run. Roos putting it up high. Just too big. And as the game comes on, or goes on, just can't jump as high, and that's where height's an advantage.
Well, he's kicked for Salmon. I think Nigel Smart's actually done very well since he went to full-back. But this is a pressure kick, 45-degree angle. He's normally pretty accurate, the big fella. Paul Salmon will kick and sneaks it in for a goal, I would feel. Yes. So Victoria hit back 5 goals to Paul Salmon, 15-13 to 15-12. So South Australia by a point.
Well, players from both teams really putting themselves in. They're not moving as quickly as what they did in the first quarter. It's understandable. The height of Salmon an advantage. 5 goals, 3 tonight. Salmon just gets that in.
One point the difference. With plenty of time remaining in the final term. Steins doing very well on the ball. Missed by Wanganeen. Harvey charging towards the goal square. It's getting a touch. Bickley, a chance for Mitchell. Leslie didn't quite get it to the boundary line. Bickley's got it there. Runs out of play. And we'll be happy with that end result.
Actually, that was good play by Robert Scott. Steins got it out, but Scott used his body really well on Wanganeen, which created a path, and Victoria took that ball out of the centre unimpeded.
Saw Bickley stats a moment ago, 13 kicks. Salmon with a height advantage here against Smart. Smart at the back. Quick kick away by Kapler. Into a space. This is an important ball to be won. Hall, Hinkley, Harvey all bounced off him. Missed by Hall. Harvey with a chance. Quick kick only as far as Burke. Hall, slow handball. Will it sit for Obbs or courage by Obbs? Played by Nayley, threw it away. Francis, South Australia won that one. Carey versus Lyon. Oh, play Carey. Brilliant mark.
I thought Lyon had that.
He's clever, isn't he, Carey?
Seen some one-handers tonight, haven't we, boys? Some brilliant marking.
It's a great game.
And Obbs is all right too. He was involved in that heavy crash in the centre square. In the centre circle, he's up, he's all right. He's a tough customer.
He's kicked 1 goal, Kerry. He's played very well, except for one little quiet patch. He's going to kick from 50 metres with what breeze there is behind him. A low drop punt, not quite there. Steins in the front spot, punch through for a behind. And South Australia's lead is just 2 points in a thriller.
Well, next goal, very important. As we see, Mark Bayes about to bring it back into play. Bayes is a beautiful kick. He won't mess around with this one. Straight up the centre of the ground. The high flyers are there. Oh, almost a good mark to line. Couldn't quite hang on to it. Goes in to get it again. Saliba is there. Shuffled out by Obst. Saliba again. Dives on it. Now tries to get it out. He can't. So it will be a bounce, and the South Australian crowd appreciating the work of Adam
South Australia
Saliba.
got more numbers around the ball just at this moment, Peter. They're really starting to lift now.
Well, it's halfway between centre wing and half forward for the South Aussies. Steins versus Hines. Harvey surrounded by South Australians.
Well, you can see
Carey
that
and Ops.
again. They're all onto one.
Well, it's still at half forward. 2 points the margin. South Australia lead. Anyone's game. And this is what the crowd came to see, a good, tight, hard contest. Actually, they'd want the South Aussies to win. They're pretty parochial here. Here's Nailey, who was brilliant when he first came on. On to Bickley. Bickley to the half-forward line. Was that a holding decision? Jarman. Still Darren Jarman. Now he was held, Darren Jarman. He was playing for the free kick and he eventually got it.
It was against O'Donnell initially. O'Donnell had him. He was caught behind.
Now he is a mercurial player, Darren Jarman. I wonder if he'll try and look for the short one or go for the long bomb.
Well,
no, he's going the short one. And he's found his man. And it looks like Nailey it is. Mark Nailey.
Still that hold, Peter. Old Steins has dropped into it now.
Mark Nailey will kick from 50. Really lifted the South Aussies when he came on. There he is, bringing it up in towards the goal square. The high flies are there. Kernahan, the big fly. How the umpires see this. Eventually it's forced over the line for a behind. Kernahan very close to marking that ball.
Steins hurt himself too. He was underneath Kernahan.
Well, as we look at the scoreboard, it's 3 points the margin. Ken Hinkley kicks it to himself, then onto the left boot. Brings it to the half-back line. Scott Russell. All the markers dropped there. Taken by Nailey, a sweeping hand pass. Here's Maynard. Maynard, a high floating kick in towards the square. Kernahan. Yes, a top mark, Stephen Kernahan. He will kick for goal number 6 from 20 metres. Well, he is very strong overhead. There's Graham Corns looking on. And a vital kick coming up.
And the worrying thing about Victoria is back at the centre of the ground, all those players going across to Maynard and Nailey, congratulating them, a host of players back from where that ball came from. Their enthusiasm starting to rise.
Stephen Kernahan has kicked 5. He is 15 metres out, directly in front, a chance to put them 9 points in front, and he does.
To attendance tonight, 32,984. Hines to go. South Australia leads by 9 points, 11.5 minutes remaining. Nailey tried to snare it out of the centre, unable to do so. Good handball though by Obst to Saliba, to half forward. Off the ground by O'Donnell. Robert Harvey's been excellent. Kick to the space, falling over. Well, Kapler didn't fall over. He got back to spoil Couch. Bradley missed it for a moment. Scott, who's kicked 3 goals. Now Barry Mitchell. Robert Harvey caught by Saliba, threw it away in the end. McGuan run down, no free kick. Bickley well played, but gave it up to Scott. Scott from 70 metres, centering kick. Ruse the target. Great mark.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Well, I was going to say Kernahan's was a captain mark at one end. Well, it was from the vice-captain. That was a captain's mark at the other.
No, that was a good mark. It was a needed mark, a much-needed mark. Look at Ruse.
Gee, that was a good mark, wasn't it?
Kicked 2 goals since going to centre half forward. At half-time has been a very important player. Stabs it straight through for his 3rd.
And a terrific goal. A pressure goal, a pressure mark. That should lift those fellows out there. If it doesn't, they haven't got anything that flows through their brain. Veins.
We know exactly what you mean, Don.
McGuan. Good tackle by Couch. Scott again figuring. And Ruse, terrific stuff. And a pressure kick. 3 points the difference.
Back to the centre. Steins versus Hines. Hines tried to knock it on. There's Mick McGuan racing in after it, but it's held to his chest to be another bounce by Peter Carey. out of this centre, very, very important. Centre breaks last quarter. Victoria 5-2. Again, it was Steins. He knocks it on towards the half-forward line. That was Wanganeen, a flying kick. Now Mitchell. Now Lambert. Good play. Nathan Burke into half-forward. It should be marked, and is. And this is Robert Harvey. Now he wants to get on with another chip pass. Oh, loose man there at half-forward. And the mark has been taken for Victoria, and that is by Mick McGuan. He really knows how to get on his own, McGuan. 19 kicks and 4 handballs. 9 marks. An excellent game from the Collingwood Star. And a vital kick coming up. A chance to put Victoria 3 points in front. He's kick 1. Mickey McGuan from directly in front. Oh, it's a high ball. It's floating. It floats through for a goal.
Well, there's pressure out there, and a lot of these Victorians are now starting to be counted, as some of those South Australians are too. Pressure from Roos when he kicked his, and this is a pressure goal from McGuan. Just edged forward, the Victorians.
Victoria coming back strongly through. McGuan leads by 3 points. South Australia out of the centre to half forward, and a free kick being paid to Hall against Hinkley. It's been one of the jewels of the night, hasn't it? Hall and Hinkley.
Been a great duel. I think Hinkley's probably won it.
Oh, Hall's done pretty well.
Hall's been good. Oh, Hinkley's been great also.
It's at 11 and 4 from half forward and kicked 2 goals, but Hinkley's been brilliant as well. It's been a superb duel between 2 great ball players. And Hall from 50 metres. High drop punt. Not quite there, I wouldn't think. Being hurled up and forced through for a behind. So the margin down to 2 points at 16-16 to 17-12. 2 goals, 2 for Hall. 1 out of bounds on the full.
I think you still got to go straight down the centre, Peter. Bays, long.
Low drop punt gets good distance. Carey back in the front spot. Scholes, quick kick away. He's done pretty well. Roos has done very well. Kapler and Couch there and Roos. And it'll be a ball up in the centre square. Victoria slightly in attack. They lead by 2 points in what's been a wonderful match tonight. Roos 13 and 2 has really fought back after half-time.
Almost in the centre of the ground. Steins beaten for it. There's Scholes caught. That's holding the ball. It was a terrific tackle. And that was by Darren Jarman. That really was a good, strong tackle. He should be kicking this long. The Hawthorn Star. Here's a beautiful kick as he brings it to the half-forward line. Up they go. It's thumped the ground. Who'll end up with the loose ball? For Scott Russell. Bradley back with the flight. Good play, Bradley. He's got it, Craig Bradley. Gets back onto the left foot. He'll centre it for Kernahan. Kernahan. Oh, was he pushed off it? No. Play on calls the umpire, and eventually it's forced through by Gary O'Donnell for a behind. So the score's down 1 point the margin.
Oh. He's just getting a fist to it.
Dare I say, but wouldn't a draw be a fitting result? 16-17 to 17-12. No premiership points at stake. Just the glory of the game, which has been tonight. Steins at centre half back. Victoria hanging on courageously. They've been magnificent. Harvey's kick out wide to Collins, who's got some space. A goal here would be critical. Couch running for him. He's a left footer. Kapler should know it. He's with him. He goes over though, Kapler. Couch gets away from him. Steadies. Goes for goal. And might have kicked it. He has, I think. Couch has kicked it for the big V. His second goal in this final term. And Victoria have got the edge.
Well, that all started from that long kick out. A great mark by Steins under a lot of pressure. A quick handball across to Harvey, and Harvey in turn to Collins. Collins puts it out in front of Couch. You really can't trap it. Then uses the body on Kapler. Kapler a desperate effort. But what a kick from Paul Couch. You can see there a jubilant Couch.
Back to the centre. The Victorians, well, have shown a lot of courage tonight. At various stages, South Australia looked like running away with it. Sock it off the ground to Obbs. Obbs to the half-forward line. It's all Victoria. The mark is dropped down there by O'Donnell. Saliba, well done. Adam Saliba in towards goal, and the youngsters kicked it.
Well, Gary O'Donnell's holding his head. He can't believe it.
Saliba kicks his first. Look at this. Point the margin, Victoria lead. What a game of football.
Boy, they can turn it around. A mistake is ever so costly in these games. And Saliba capitalising on that effort by Gary O'Donnell. There it goes. Oh, what a game.
Turns 20 next week, Saliba. Little round-looking footballer, but can he play with some skills? A point the difference. What a contest. Hines and Steins. Great moments coming up in the game now. Burke's quick kick away. Jarman, played Burke, took it out of Jarman, and then running straight into Kapler, who held him up. Well, there'll be some heroics in the next 4 or 5 minutes, I'd imagine, like they've been all night.
Well, everybody thought, with all those stars out of both teams, it wouldn't be much of a game. Boy.
Well, it's got to be one of the best ever State of Origin matches, and there have been some excellent ones. Harvey's quick handball to Burke, 6.5 minutes remaining. 1 point the difference, 119 to 120. And really, has there been a better advertisement at State of Origin level than this one's been tonight for this game?
Yes, and any doubters about State of Origin football, well, they watch this game tonight to see how keen these players are. Look at the harassing on Collins by Nailey. And that's what it's all about. Andy Collins at the base of the pack. Nailey was appealing for the free kick. It's right in the centre. A point the margin. Victoria lead. And one simple mistake could be costly at this stage, as we saw with Gary O'Donnell. Now, Steins versus Hines. A loose ball. Robert Harvey weaves his way through the pack to the half-forward line. Umpire calls play on. Good umpiring too. Martin Leslie lies on it. Oh, he really didn't make a great attempt to get it out, but the umpire's going to bounce it.
It's a marvellous player, Robert Harvey, isn't he?
Clever.
Oh, McDermott and Shaw going for it a moment ago. Both out of the action at the moment in the pocket. Jarman's quick kick went nowhere. Trying to get through. Russell held up by Scholl and also McGuan.
Just was stuffed by Craig Lambert too to try and smother that off the boot.
Just less than 6 minutes remaining. Tension almost unbearable here. Tap won by Salmon. Oh, Leslie had it taken off him by Mitchell.
Desperate stuff.
And again with Francis over the top. And Tony Shaw on the bottom. And Leslie. His fingernails will be well bitten down this evening. Here's Salmon again to go for it. Steins has dropped back into the centre. It could be an important moment here. Salmon goes and gets rid of Hines. Hines was in the front spot. And again, Victoria over the top. It's been a free-flowing, free-scoring game. Mitchell on the bottom. The Vicks lead by 1 point.
And all of a sudden, the desperation, forcing the ball into a rugby-like scrum. It's just over 4 minutes of play left. A point the margin. Victoria leads. Lambert, the quick kick. In towards full forward, Ruse. Now Nigel Smart, he did that very, very well. He goes wide to Bickley. They're off and running. They've created the loose man. Bradley is there and Tony Hall. Hall races after it. Still in play. Yes, it is still in play as he shuffles it out to Bickley. In went Tony Francis. Tony Hall again. Swings onto the left foot, the Hawthorn half-forward. Towards their half-forward line. Adam Saliba goes to ground. Tries to get in a hand pass. Wanganeen weaves through the pack. Wayne Carey fires in the goal. It's a goal! Wayne Carey's kicked a great goal. South Australia hit the front. They lead by 5 points.
Well, that was terrific play on that centre wing by Hall. He led Hickley in the race for the ball, and Hall kept it in. And by keeping it in, he gave South Australia a chance. And here they are capitalising on it. Wanganeen. And then there's a long bomb here from Carey. Oh, did it bring the crowd to its feet. What a terrific goal.
Well, what a last quarter this has been after 3 brilliant first quarters. Harvey, Leslie took a chance. Jarman and Burke. Well played, Jarman. It comes off. Carey to go for it again to the goal square. Kernahan at the back. Through his fingers are behind. But it's a goal the difference. One straight kick the difference at 18-18 to 18-12. 3 minutes remaining. Gee, Carey's been important, hasn't he? Jarman was clever then. Bays bangs it into the centre. Maybe we'll get that draw done after all. McGuan's kicked back. Roos in the front spot. Pushed into it, takes the mark. Less than 3 minutes to go. Roos with his 3 goals. Salmon the target. Smart's been good. Salmon's
free kick. Oh, good in front.
I think that Nigel Smart has been fantastic at fullback since being moved on to Salmon, because he is such a class player, Smart, as he brings it in over the centre wing. As a matter of fact, it's almost a mark again to Carey. It is. Oh, what an important player in this last term. If they get a goal here, I think it'll be shut the gate. Wayne Carey. Kernahan's got 2 to beat. It's a loose ball. Adam Saliba will pick it up. He's very talented. He handballed it away.
Oh, let the game go.
That's a free kick, Don. He handballed it away and then was grabbed. It was clever play, Saliba.
I thought he was great. He got the ball away when he was grabbed. Well, watch this on
let's have a look. He handballed. That's a free. No, that's like the old rule when they used to bounce it, but they handball it now instead. Adam Saliba, well, he looks a little bit overweight, but he is certainly classy. He's 55 metres from goal. He should bang it in long to the square. There's the kick, a high one. The pack develops. The high flyers are there. Jimmy Steins thumps it over the line, but that'll probably suit South Australia. They lead by a goal.
Gee, a point would have been handy though, Peter. Would have given them the edge. Steins did a good job to keep it away from the points. The Vics need a clear one here. 1:30 remaining in a classic confrontation. Steins gets it down. Barry Mitchell's quick kick taken by Bickley. A quick kick. South Australia needing a behind out on the full.
Whoa!
So the Vics have got the time. They've got to set up a clean bit of play here. Some rhythm for Victoria. Some clean gets. Shaw, Steins couldn't take the mark. Still Steins. And is that out on the full? Well, poor Jimmy didn't play that very cleverly. Ran out of options, didn't he?
Well, he really didn't have too much to do there, Bruce. He couldn't bring it back.
He really was pinged against the line, wasn't he?
Only alternative really to run out himself and
trouble now for the Vics.
Well, Carey's kick from half forward, centering kick. Kernahan outnumbered as he's been all night. Oh, great play marked by Tony Hall, who kicked one of the great goals in the game earlier in the quarter.
And against Sydney and against Brisbane Bears to win the game.
Well, he did this, didn't he, in the last minutes up at Carrara. Here it is, Hall. You just can't afford to let him go. Look, Himpley's behind. He's got to block him.
It's kick 2.
Even a point would win it for them, probably.
Drop punt. He's hooked it. It's a behind. Anticlimactic, but it should be enough. I don't think I've heard a bigger cheer for a point in a long time.
Oh, what a game, Bruce. This has been sensational.
Well, South Australia will win it now because there's 12 seconds remaining and they lead by 7 points. Bays gives it away down the centre. Francis, with this kick the goal, goes for it and goes, and that's it. That's it. That's the ball game. Siren sounds. Shaw and Francis together, the 2 Collingwood heroes. (19-19) to 18-12. And in the end, it's a flattering margin.
Well, full marks to both sides, isn't it, Bruce? A magnificent fight back by Victoria. What a game.
Well, so many heroes out there tonight. You look at Kernahan and Carey and Hall on that forward line for South Australia, and Francis, as John Casey's out there, and we might get an interview in a moment, and the Vics were terrific too. They were fantastic the way they fought it out to the last minute. Here's Kernahan, and I think John Casey might have him now.
Yes, thanks very much, Bruce. I've got perhaps South Australia's best player here tonight. Stephen, your 300th game. To win such a close one in front of your home crowd, what's it like?
Oh, it's great. You know, these games are always good, and Victoria have been the last couple of years, and you know, obviously a lot of players out from both sides, but I think the players that played tonight really showed how good the competition is to field sides like we did tonight.
Well, you've kicked 10 goals here for South Australia before. You like coming back, taking those big grabs and then kicking goals?
Oh, well, you know, you get them now and again, yeah.
I did see you sneak a look up at the scoreboard about the 27-minute mark when the Vics were 7 points in front. What was going through your mind?
Well, I thought that the last quarter went about 31, and I thought we've still got 4 or 5 minutes to go. You know, Wayne Carey, especially his last quarter, was just magnificent. You got young blokes like that playing well, you're always a chance.
OK, Stephen, congratulations. Another great performance.
6 goals to Kernahan. South Australia win a memorable match, 19-19, 133 to 18-12, 120. Both of them kicking 6 goals in the final quarter. South Australia having 8 more scoring shots in that final term, winning 19-19 to 18-12. Now for the presentation of the Malcom Blight Cup to the winning captain. Let's go down on the ground.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we've witnessed an absolutely fantastic game of Australian rules football, the CUB AFL State of Origin match between South Australia and Victoria. And of course, what a brilliant 10-goal burst by South Australia in the second term after being 25 points down at the first change. It certainly is a credit to all the players that participated for their respective states here at Football Park tonight. Commiserations to the Victorians, but by golly, did they really play a great game of football. And congratulations to South Australia on a very gutsy and determined brand of South Australian football produced here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I'll ask one of South Australia's favourite sons, Malcom Blight, to come forward to present the Malcom Blight Cup to the captain of the winning team, Chris McDermott. Malcom Blight, ladies and gentlemen. Chris McDermott, would you come forward, please?
Thanks, Malcolm. Firstly, congratulations to Victoria. You know, a tremendous effort. Obviously, they had their injury worries and, you know, they played a magnificent game. And to these blokes over here who never gave in, just kept battling all night long, every single one of them. They did their state proud, they did you, the supporters, proud, and restored some pride back into South Australian footy. Thanks for your support. See you next year.
And ladies and gentlemen, let's do it for South Australia. Let's ask the winning captain, Chris McDermott, and the South Australian team to do a lap of honour of Football Park. And let's recognise the quality of the players representing South Australia tonight. Number 1, Richard Champion. Number 3, Mark Bickley. 4, Stephen Kernahan with 6 goals to his credit tonight. Number 5, Gavin Waganine. Number 6, Tony Francis. 7, Nigel Smart. Number 8, Adam Saliba.
And the list can go on and on. You could go through every one of those players because they've all been heroic tonight and contributed. Even Saliba, Don, coming on to the last quarter and getting a very important touch and kicking a goal. Greg Anderson there, who had to go off at half-time. And, well, E.J. Whitten, the chairman of selectors. Teddy Whitten's down with Tim Watson.
Teddy, it's a bit disappointing, but it was a great game of football.
Yeah, it was a tough game of football tonight. We found that after quarter time we were going to be really in the game, but they had a scintillating second quarter. Then when we made changes at half-time with Paul Roos up around the forward line, and I thought our third quarter was excellent. Then when we hit the front late in the last quarter, we still thought we were going to get away with it. But you must give them a lot of credit. They came back, Timmy, right to the very finish. And there's one thing I say is good luck to them. I mean, we hate to be beaten, but they deserve credit because they were gone there to finish. And playing over here, of course, makes one hell of a difference. But we were proud of our boys. We were proud of these Victorian kids that gave their guts for us. We're naturally disappointed, but we offer no excuses because we were beaten on the night. But it was a tough, hard game of football.
What did Billy Goggins say to the boys at half-time?
Well, he asked the players at half-time for character in particular, because he felt that in the second quarter, after leading in the way at quarter time, that we allowed them to get back into the game too easily. We allowed them to take possession of the football and control it there. And he said it's about time you woke up to yourself and realised that our name is on the line, Victoria, and our credibility is on the line, ours and theirs and Victorians. And I thought in the third quarter that they came out and they did exactly what he asked for. It was a tremendous finish of football. I don't think anybody watching would have been disappointed apart from Victorians that we've got beaten. Geez, it's hard to cop it over here when you get beaten, and you've been involved. And over the past, you know, it's been points, 2 points, 3 points, and with about 27 minutes to go, we're 7 points in front. Well, we get rolled by a couple of goals. You know, 2 or 3 minutes is a long time in football, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Teddy, and thanks very much for that, and I hope it hasn't spoiled your night too much.
Well, it's going to spoil the night because we don't like being beaten, you know, and after a great victory and against Western Australia, but we still feel that we have the nucleus of these young kids, given the opportunity that State of Origin football will be around for a long time, and all you Victorians, I think you should be proud of them. They did us all proud, even though we didn't come out with the points.
Thanks, Teddy.
Teddy Whitten there. Don, you'll have to be quick with this summary, but I reckon the best statement is, has it spoilt your night, Teddy?
Yeah, no, it was just a terrific game, and I'm glad that everybody should get up and applaud both of these sides. They really did have, as Peter McKenna says, a red-hot go. So it fluctuated. It was just a terrific go. Players putting themselves on the line. Stats, they should be fairly even. They are as far as disposals. Victoria had in marks, but they were going short with their passes a lot of the time. Men unattended on a couple of occasions, but really it was a terrific game of football. And, you know, State of Origin football can only benefit from a game like that.
Well, I wholeheartedly agree with you, Don. Terrific match. South Australia winning in the end 19-19 to 18 goals to 12. We'll take a break, back with more from Football Park after this. Very important in the second quarter revival for South Australia.
Well, I had him marked down as a good player in the second and fourth quarter as Bruce, and his stats vindicated that, 6 and 8 in those particular quarters. He's finished up with 21 possessions. He is a gun on that half-back line. He's awkward kicking style, but still a very tenacious player.
Harvey was fantastic, wasn't he?
My vote for best on the ground. 33 possessions, but not the fact that he gained those possessions. Gee, he's got a lot of class. How he can get out of trouble just amazed me tonight. And his passing was terrific.
What do you think of Hobbs' game?
I thought it was a very gutsy game. Andrew didn't figure highly as far as, you know, good players are concerned. He was good in the first quarter when it was tough, and he is a tough player, but he still finished up with 19 and a terrific goal in the second quarter.
McGuan?
Yeah, McGuan I thought was all right, actually. It was an interesting battle. He had Jarman there for a while, then was taken off and on him, and but he's finished up with 25. But that was a pressure goal in the last quarter, which was a ripper. He's finished with 2.
Look at Carey's last turn.
Well, yes, there it is. A great last quarter. I thought Lyon was a terrific player for Hawthorn, and Lyon was a centre-half back, but he turned it over on Carey in the last quarter.
Hinkley on Hall.
Well, I thought Hall was a good player, but Hinkley's picked up 23 possessions, but Hall was a good player, especially in the crunch at the last quarter.
Well, what a match it was. South Australia in the end winning by 13 points. Kernahan with 6 goals and Salmon kicking 5 goals for Victoria. Hope you've enjoyed it tonight. I'm sure you have. It's been one of the great matches in AFL. State of Origin.
Welcome back. State of Origin football is set to break new ground. It follows discussions between the SANFL and the AFL this morning. A week-long carnival is now almost a certainty, with South Australia set to stage its first ever state match double-header.
Victorian officials who were here for last night's game met with SANFL General Manager Lee Wecker this morning to discuss the future of state football. The radical but refreshing new format is almost certain to be introduced next year. This was one of the proposals canvassed, a State of Origin carnival involving 4 states and a grand final. But the big move is the introduction of double-header state games. The state game, made up of only local league players that we saw here in May, is likely to be played next year as the curtain raiser to a South Australia-Western Australia State of Origin clash.
There may be a way of playing those games as a forerunner to a State of Origin match and financing them out of the State of Origin revenue. That certainly has some appeal.
The new setup could also mean South Australia playing its next match against Victoria at the MCG.
I think we're ready now to take on Victoria again at the MCG.
And while South Australia was still basking in the euphoria of last night's victory, there was a sombre mood among the Victorians as they prepared to head home. It was our first win against the Vics since 1988. Among the highlights, this miraculous goal by Tony Hall, which levelled the scores, and Wayne Carey's effort, which gave us the lead with only minutes remaining.
Fires in the goal. It's a goal. Wayne Carey's kicked a great goal.
I mean, they are something special, and you have to experience them. And what made it even more special tonight was a classic game of football. It was football at its best.
They're cut, and I'm cut, and so was the coach, even though we were beaten. We make no excuses.